This name is our main character, who spent 10 years fishing, leading everyone to believe that he was just a useless person. Little did they know, during those 10 years, he had broken through to refine chi at the 10,000th level and came down the mountain to take the empress as his disciple. He took her final move without a scratch and made her drink leftover soup. She then broke through several great realms, receiving a divine-level skill for her to cultivate, jumping up several realms in one day. She thought she was a super genius, but he was stunned because her talent was too low. The Demon King came to challenge him, and with just one move, he ended up on the leaderboard. And okay, no more beating around the bush, let's get started. The story begins in a paradise known as the Xinghe Sect, one of the largest sects cultivating immortals in the mortal realm of Lin Tion continent. Here, a grand ceremony to accept new disciples is held once every 10 years. Under the small arenas, duels are taking place among the contestants. Thousands of people need to go through the competition stage to determine their rank. Winning 5 consecutive matches will grant them the status of an outside sect disciple, and winning another 5 matches will qualify them as an inside sect disciple. At this moment, there was a tall and muscular young man, his six-pack physique battered. He was struck a heavy blow, falling flat to the ground. The match had come to an end. The 7th arena had determining a winner, and the one who defeated the large man in the blink of an eye was a beautiful woman, Lin Tion, the Empress reborn. This useless person can participate in the grand ceremony of collecting disciples. The Xinghe sect is truly questionable. I never expected that I, as the Empress, would have to start my cultivation journey from such a small sect this time. In front of these lackluster people, not only did they fail to pose any challenge for her, but they also annoyed her. Well, anyway, my goal is just to qualify for cultivating immortals. After I cultivate at Xinghe sect for 10 years, I will seek revenge on that traitor. The one praising Tion for her strength was the Grand Elder of Xinghe sect. At such a young age, being able to cultivate to the 6th level of chi refinement, truly a talent for cultivating immortals. Her outstanding performance had also caught the eye of a young man standing next to him, Chen Chongqing, the Grand Master of Heavenly Sword Peak. The Grand Elder has a sharp eye. I want to take her back to Heavenly Sword Peak. However, having such a good person taken by him made the Elder somewhat uncomfortable. Chongqing disciple, don't forget. The Xinghe sect allows for freedom of choosing a master. If you want her to join your Heavenly Sword Peak, it also depends on whether she wants to or not. Chongqing then affirmed, Grand Elder, rest assured, Chongqing will never violate sect rules. I believe she will make the most correct choice. However, the Grand Elder glanced at the empty chair next to him, seeming to notice that an important figure was absent from today's competition. It was unacceptable to leave the chair empty, so he shouted out with frustration, "Where is Yikong? Didn't I tell you to call him?" The frightened disciple explained, "I reminded Yikong uncle. Uncle said he had important matters and would arrive later." This lack of reliability greatly irritated the Grand Elder. What important matters could this little guy possibly have? He must have run off to fish. How could the previous master of such heroism produce such a son? And indeed, he was not wrong. At the Xinghe sect, on Shiao Peak, where fragrant flowers bloomed everywhere and the lake was crystal clear, he was leisurely sitting and fishing. The person fishing with a particularly domineering bamboo rod also casually introduced himself. "My name is Yikong, and I have crossed over to the world of cultivating immortals. I am currently the master of Shiao Peak of the Xinghe sect. Although I am called a master peak, in reality, I am just a solitary person. Besides me, there is no one else on Shiao Peak." People think this because the image of me etched in their minds is that of a privileged child who is treated specially. In the eyes of others, I am just a mediocre person at the refined chi stage, able to be a master thanks to my father, the former master of the Xinghe sect. But the reality, what the reality is remains unknown, until an announcement suddenly appeared. It stated that the host has been fishing for 9 years and 265 days. The current cultivation of the host is at refined chi stage 3550. While others must toil hard, I, Yikong, can easily surpass them with a relaxed attitude. I had awakened the system long ago. As long as I consistently fish every day, I can increase my cultivation. Yes, I only need to fish here for 1 day to gain a cultivation level. However, I feel like I must have gotten a made-in-China product. For an ordinary person to reach the 9th level of refined qi is already the limit, while I have reached 3,000 levels but still cannot establish a foundation. This system must be bugged. However, after a while of being engrossed in fishing and ignoring the world, Yi Kong suddenly remembered something. Isn't there something going on today? At this moment, he was alarmed to recall the earth-shattering event he had forgotten. That's right. It's the recruitment ceremony of the Shenghe sect. After some consideration, Yi Kong decided to pick up his things and leave. Although no disciples will pay me homage as their master, as the master peak of Shiao Peak, I should still make an appearance. At this time, at the finals of the recruitment ceremony of the Shenghe sect, after several intense qualifying rounds, only the 2 most promising contestants remained. Her final opponent was a young man with an exceptionally scholarly appearance, which made many girls infatuated. Miss Lin, I have watched all your matches. Your martial skills are extraordinary, and I am very impressed. Upon hearing his admiration for Tion, she whimsically thought, are you planning to admit defeat? Although no one asked, he introduced himself anyway. No, perhaps the young lady doesn't know, but I am the young master of Lu Xianghao. This is actually a sect affiliated with the Shenghe sect. My family's 7th uncle is an elder of the Shenghe sect. Faced with his chatter, Tion had no choice but to ask again. What do you really want to say? It turned out that all the roundabout and colorful words had been a way for him to mock Tion. What I mean is, my starting point is different from yours. Currently, my cultivation has reached the 7th level of qi refinement. However, even if you lose to me, it's still a loss, and yet, in response to his idle provocation, Tion truly felt ready to explode. I've tolerated you long enough, now you're asking for it. In the next moment, her eyes sparkled with determination, and she swung a single slap forward that left him with a distorted face. How embarrassing, seriously, just a moment ago, he had looked down on her, and now he felt as humiliated as a fish out of water. Of course, a realm cannot have 2 rulers. She had achieved victory in an extremely convincing manner. The champion of this year's Shenghe sect recruitment competition is Lin Tion. In front of her stunning display of skills, the others watching were left speechless, constantly shouting, no way. This is the finals, right? Just one move decided the outcome. Lin Tion not only has talent but is also this beautiful. Heaven is truly partial. What a prodigy. In response to the loudmouths among these spectators, the Grand Elder shouted loudly to silence them, quiet. Great Tao has 3 heavens. You are the chosen ones and need to select the skill that suits you right from the beginning of your cultivation. He stood firmly on the podium, raised his hand to the sky, and declared, the 5 peaks of the Shenghe sect represent different paths of cultivation. Once chosen, it cannot be changed, and he couldn't miss the fun today, so he slowly made his appearance. The Grand Elder also paused and turned around. Changqing gently lifted his shining sword. Amidst the soft petals falling on the sword, today Changqing also wanted to showcase his swordsmanship. Heavenly Sword Peak. Indeed, the charm of reincarnation was irresistible. As soon as they saw him appear, several young women couldn't help but want to take him as their husband. This person is truly impressive. Who is he? He is Changqing, known as the Little Sword God. He is the strongest of the younger generation of the Shenghe sect. Oh my, I want to enter Heavenly Sword Peak to learn Sword Dao with senior brother Changqing. After a long day of hard work, the Grand Elder now read the summary. Heavenly Sword Peak has accepted 1,200 disciples. Yusho Peak has accepted 520 disciples. Lingyao Peak has accepted 370 disciples. Manhwa Peak has accepted 250 disciples. However, by the end of the report, his expression suddenly darkened, his voice hesitant. Xiaoyao Peak accepts a disciple. Does Xiaoyao Peak really accept someone? The sect is crowded, yet there's a candidate who chose Xiaoyao Peak as their master. This left everyone present in astonishment. Chang Qing, seeing Yi Kong's figure standing at a distance, couldn't help but scoff. Is there really someone who chooses Shiao Peak? I'm truly curious about who is blind enough to accept a useless person as their master. However, it was unexpectedly the case. The one who chose him as a master was none other than the MVP who had just cleared the map, Lin Tion. Why her? In light of Xing He Sect's arrogance, Tion felt a strong disdain. Xing He Sect, a little sect like this, no one is worthy to be the master of the Empress Lin Tion. This Shiao Peak that no one chooses is indeed suitable for my cultivation. However, in order to gain the beauty and to undermine Yi Kong's reputation, Chang Qing mocked him. Miss Lin, this master of Shiao Peak is merely at the qi refinement stage. He can't guide you at all. You should instead join my heavenly sword peak. I will personally teach you swordsmanship, but don't think that I remain silent because I'm easygoing. Yi Kong quickly stood up to refute him. Chen Sudi, you are openly stealing a disciple from my Shiao Peak, which is likely a violation of sect rules. Seeing him finally emerging from his fishing spot made Chang Qing feel quite startled. Yi Kong, uncle. Noticing that persuading Tion was ineffective, Chang Qing turned to the Grand Elder and said, Yi Kong uncle, you are usually busy with trivial matters and have no intention of teaching disciples. A talent like Lin Tion joining your sect is truly a great treasure. However, he did not hastily agree with him but instead turned to ask Yi Kong, are you really ready to take on a disciple? Lin Tion is an excellent seed for cultivating immortals, and you are not allowed to ruin her. Then, he calmly reassured the Grand Elder, which accidentally made her feel a bit uncomfortable. Grand Elder, don't worry. Isn't she still not at the foundation establishment stage? As long as she is still at the refined chi stage, there is no disciple I cannot teach. In the face of his supreme confidence, Tion had to comment, what a grandiose attitude. You speak as if you are undefeated in the refined chi stage. Yet, before long, Yi Kong regarded her as nothing more than a servant, leaving her speechless. Moreover, right now, I am the only one at Shiao Peak. She comes and could help us tidy up things. I'm sure I want to accept this disciple. Do you want me, the Empress, to help you clean? Then don't blame me for being impolite. With a very high sense of pride, Tion wanted to have a contest to confirm Yi Kong's strength. Yi Master Peak, if you want to take me as your disciple, shouldn't you prove that you are stronger than me? If she wanted to play, he would oblige. How do you want me to prove it? Tion didn't ask for much, just said, take 3 moves from me. However, with Yi Kong's playful nature, he proposed a different plan. No, 3 moves are too troublesome. 1 move is enough. Before his playful attitude, the others couldn't help but chime in, you don't even have the confidence to take 3 of her moves. What a shame for the Xing He Sect. So embarrassing. That's right. At this moment, Tion was still very confident in her own robust strength and readily agreed to Yi Kong, alright. Just 1 move to determine the victor. This person doesn't know that I am the Empress reincarnated. Dealing with a useless person like you, even if I were to lose my cultivation, 1 move would still be enough. Although Tion was very serious, preparing to gather her strength to strike Yi Kong, he saw this as just a casual affair. So let's get started. After we finish fighting, we will return to Shiao Peak to eat. I will cook and do the dishes. Trick of the universe. In the face of her incredibly cool attack, Yi Kong just stood there nonchalantly, relaxed and not the least bit afraid. After gathering all her strength, she prepared to strike downwards. And then what was inevitable happened. Yi Kong alone took the full force of her powerful attack. After executing her move, Tion felt very proud. Take this hit, Yi, you will at least be bedridden for half a year. Daring to ask me to do the dishes for you? This is the consequence of speaking carelessly. However, surprisingly, Tion's attack didn't even touch a single hair on him. Your technique has momentum but no power. Don't practice it anymore, it's a waste of time. In the face of this unbelievable situation, she gritted her teeth in anger. I clearly hit him. Why is he completely unscathed? After being mocked by Yi Kong, Tion pointed ahead hesitantly. You. Seeing that things were becoming confusing, everyone voiced their frustration. What are you two playing at? You want to perform a play for us, right? At this moment, she began to guess wildly. That's right. This Yi is a master Peak, surely he is wearing a protective garment. Don't think that just because you have a protective garment, I cannot do anything to you. Watch me use my spirit technique. Then Tion began to use her trump card to attack your spiritual sea. At this moment, she was brought into a new space and was very astonished. What is this? She felt as if she was being taken from one surprise to another. The spiritual sea is where cultivators contain spiritual energy. The smaller the spiritual energy, the larger the area of the spiritual sea. Yikong is just a chi refining cultivator. How could his spiritual sea be as vast as the ocean? And beneath Tion's feet were waves of water beginning to rise, leaving her stunned. What is going on? Suddenly, he transformed into a giant and surged with the rising water to attack her. Yikong. Now it is time for Yikong to show Tion what respect means. She was slapped by his wave, leaving her jaw hanging. Having seen her being too gentle until now, he no longer held back and shouted, "This place is not somewhere you can enter. Get out." Both of them escaped from the spiritual sea. While Yikong was unharmed physically, Tion had collapsed at the threshold of paradise. He ran to support her and silently rejoiced that he hadn't gone too far. Luckily, if I had taken one more step, her divine consciousness would have been refined by my spiritual sea. At that point, she would become a fool. Then he carried her away. My disciple has been exhausted from continuous battles. Everyone, I will take her back to Shiao Peak. Everyone still couldn't believe what they were seeing. They must have planned this in advance. It has to be so. How could Yikong win against Lin Tion like that? However, they did not know that the angriest person at this moment was Chongqing. Well done, Yikong. Playing tricks on me, are you? Today, with the Grand Elder present, I cannot take action against you. Wait until 10 days from now, when Elder Sister arrives, I will definitely trample you underfoot and see if you still have the face to be someone's master. In the delirium of Tion, a few memories suddenly rushed back like a slow-motion film. Na, I am a strong emperor realm. If I can break through this barrier this time, I will be able to ascend to the celestial realm. Protect me and don't allow anyone to come close. At this moment, she still had not revealed her true self and pretended to agree with her. Tion, don't worry, I won't let anyone get close to you. However, Tion had no idea that while she was cultivating and placing her complete trust in Na, she was actually preparing to stab her in the back. And then, the moment she suddenly realized that harsh truth, it was already too late. With her body soaked in the red blood from Na's crime, Tion could not help but question, I treated you like a sister. Why did you betray me? Na was nothing more than a wolf in sheep's clothing, hiding her ambition, because only then can I have everything you have. Remember, in the next life, never trust anyone. As soon as she finished speaking, Na plunged the dagger deeper into Tion's chest, causing blood to splatter endlessly. Bitch. Being betrayed by someone she cherished, a hatred that could not be quelled surged within Tion. I will definitely come back to find you and take revenge. At that moment, she woke up like a startled fawn, looking around in confusion after the nightmare. Where is this place? While Tion was in a state of complete bewilderment, Yikong spoke up, you're awake. With her overthinking brain in a final stage, Tion immediately took a fighting stance, ready to attack. Yikong, what have you done to me? Then the following words from him left her stunned and confused. Earlier, during the competition, you suddenly fainted. I brought you back to Shiao Peak to rest. Furthermore, now you should call me master. However, in the next moment, her hands moved faster than her brain as she rummaged around Yikong, leaving him utterly perplexed. Disciple, what are you doing? At this moment, having searched and found nothing, Tion began to doubt life even more. It can't be wrong, he only has chi refinement cultivation. Could what happened in the spiritual sea earlier have just been a dream? But having stepped into this situation, Tion didn't want to think too much anymore. Well then, my original plan was to join Shiao Peak. As long as you don't disturb my cultivation, letting him be the master in name only is fine. However, Yi Kong was quite thoughtful, having prepared everything for his disciple. Come, see what your master has prepared for your cultivation resources. Being a master for the first time, he was extremely excited. You are now a disciple of Shiao Peak, and of course, the master will nurture you well. Regarding this matter, Tion also felt a little suspicious. Cultivation resources? Could it be a pill furnace? He also has that intention. Thank you, master. However, the moment Tion opened the pot lid and saw a pot of soup before her, she was shocked to the core. Is this the cultivation resource you mentioned? As a food lover, Yi Kong had specially prepared this surprise for Tion. But she stood there, stunned. Of course, this phoenix was caught with great difficulty by the master and simmered with spirit flame. While it's still hot, hurry and eat. In light of his sincere heart, how could she not try a bite? So Tion reluctantly accepted. Well then, after all, he is just a chi refining cultivator, how could he have cultivation resources? Anyway, it's his goodwill, so I'll just eat a bit. But this chicken pot does smell really good. However, just as she was about to grab the chopsticks, Yi Kong stopped her. Wait, Tion looked at the food that was served right in front of her, only to have it taken away, and she was furious with him. Disciple, you can't eat this chicken yet. With your current cultivation, you still can't refine the spiritual energy in the meat. Having had an aversion to Yi Kong from the start, her dislike for him only intensified. Being greedy for food is one thing, but he's even saying I can't refine the spiritual energy in the meat. Isn't this a phoenix? Through this incident, Tion has changed her mind. How can someone so stingy be my master? Tonight, I will leave the Xinghe sect. I don't want to stay here for another moment. However, after taking a huge sip of soup, her eyes widened. She thought the soup would be terrible, but it turned out to be amazing. Immediately, Tion felt a transformation. What is happening? There is a powerful stream of energy flowing into my spiritual sea. How can a bowl of chicken soup be so effective? Did he add high-grade elixirs to the chicken soup? Elixirs of this level are surely rare in a small sect like the Xinghe sect, and yet he used them for me. Now, Tion quickly changed her opinion about Yi Kong in an instant. Consider it a favor I owe you. Once I recover my cultivation, I will definitely grant you an opportunity that will make the Xinghe sect proud to have you. And indeed, his intention to take on a disciple to work for him was not bragging. Master has finished eating, remember to wash the dishes. I'm going outside for a stroll to help with digestion. Then Tion quickly flipped her attitude again, becoming furious at Yi Kong's errands. How annoying, daring to make me do a servant's tasks. What do you think I am? Wait until I restore my cultivation. First, punish him by making him wash all the dishes in Xinghe sect. After eliminating all the chicken soup onto the ground, she slammed the door with an attitude as if she was about to eat Yi Kong alive. However, a tiny ant happened to pass by the pile of soup. Then an unexpected event occurred when the ant began to nibble on the leftover soup. Of course, since the soup contained a type of miraculous elixir, it inevitably led to mutations. The ant became faster, more dangerous, growing larger and cooler by leaps and bounds. Ancient mythical beast Skyhorn Ant, it looked up at the pitch-black sky. At that moment, the heavens were also furious, raining down several bolts of lightning, heavenly Tao thunderbolt. From high above, a powerful lightning bolt struck directly at the mountain below. Seeing the dazzling and dangerous ray of light approaching, the ant silently prayed. Just then, Yi Kong appeared right on time and jumped into the air. He immediately launched a counterattack, saying, I won't allow anyone to harm this place. Get lost. If you hit the flowers and grass of Shiao Peak, can you afford it? In front of his terrifying appearance, like a monster, even the ant was scared and teared up. Suddenly, out of nowhere, such an alien-like creature appeared, leaving Yi Kong utterly stunned. A skyhorn ant. How could an ancient mythical beast show up on Shiao Peak? After noticing the untouched chicken soup on the ground, he somewhat understood the situation. So, you ate the phoenix bone and triggered ancient veins within you. Faced with this super cute little ant, Yi Kong couldn't bear to drive it away and decided to keep it as a pet. This must be your destiny. I'll call you Xiao He. From now on, you'll stay here on Xiaoyao Peak and help me guard the place. Entrusted with this important responsibility, Xiao He stood guard outside Xiaoyao Peak, not daring to slack off. It wore a scarf with the word patrol engraved on it, and with a highly serious expression, it wouldn't let anyone trespass. However, Xiao He had the advantage of having two incredibly sensitive antennae. Looking ahead, it suddenly noticed a room in the house emitting light. It turned out that the person bringing a bit of brightness to the night was none other than Tion, relaxing in a bath. Apparently, she had a deep-seated disdain for washing dishes and couldn't stop obsessing over it. With her hands covered in dish soap, she had to wash them thoroughly. However, with her extremely sharp senses, she immediately turned her head when she felt something. Water arrow technique. After seeing Xiao He burst into the bathroom suddenly, Tion was very displeased. Where did these demon beasts come from? Do they want to die? However, after drinking a significant amount of superior chicken soup, Tion's splash of water had no effect on it. When she realized she couldn't eliminate Xiao He in an instant, Tion started to change her perspective. The water arrow technique couldn't harm it. It seemed not to be an ordinary demon beast. It could do whatever it wanted, but first, she had to get dressed, as she couldn't be naked like a larva. With a graceful wave of her hand, her clothes were put on. And then, Tion began to adopt that overbearing tone again, acting like she was taking care of someone younger. Little ant, as long as you serve this emperor, I will grant you a chance. In the future, becoming a demon king is not impossible. However, it was unfortunate for Tion that she encountered an ant not interested in vanity, so it simply shook its head to refuse, leaving Tion in stunned disbelief that her generous offer was overlooked. Did we just get rejected? However, Tion could not accept this situation, so she forced Xiao He to comply with her wishes. You have no right to refuse this. Once you become the demon king in the future, you will definitely be grateful to me. Meanwhile, in another place, Yi Kong was holding a book titled Profound Sovereign Decision. I almost forgot. It seems that since he had a disciple, he no longer roamed around fishing all day and had started focusing on teaching. I haven't passed on the skill from Xiaoyao Peak to my disciple. However, as soon as he returned to the sect, he distinctly heard a scream, "Don't." Worried that she might be in trouble, Yi Kong couldn't hesitate and rushed forward at breakneck speed. As soon as he arrived, he anxiously asked, "Disciple, what happened to you?" At that moment, Tion was being scratched repeatedly by Xiao He, leaving her no time to defend herself. Just a moment ago she was Yi Kong's beloved, but now she had been ruthlessly thrown away by him for daring to touch her. You bastard! What have you done to my disciple? Then, Yi Kong gently turned to explain and reassure Tion. Disciple, don't be afraid. This is Xiao He, the spirit beast guarding the door that I just tamed today. Is there a misunderstanding among you? After all the moments of bravado, everyone was scared, and now Tion showed a moment of weakness. Why are you crying? She sobbed uncontrollably like a 3-year-old child because she felt so inadequate. I can't even defeat the spirit beasts guarding Xiaoyao Peak. However, Yi Kong reassured her by showing her the book he had obtained. Disciple, don't be impatient. If you master this skill book, I guarantee that Xiao He won't be your opponent. At this point, Tion had regained her composure and wiped her tears away. Profound sovereign technique? Is it really that powerful? Yi Kong took the opportunity to promote it a bit, of course. This is the supreme secret book of our style. Each time you break through a level, your cultivation will double. Practice hard, and I assure you that at Xiaoyao Peak, besides the master, no one will be your match. However, upon hearing this, Tion was even more inclined to nitpick, but there are only 2 of us at Xiaoyao Peak. Yet since he had the goodwill, she accepted the book. Don't worry, master. I will definitely practice diligently. Even now, Tion still held a grudge about washing the dishes. Although the profound sovereign technique is definitely not as powerful as what the master said. But we can use this skill training to showcase our talent. By then, the master will know how wasteful it is for a genius like me to wash dishes. However, seemingly out of nowhere, they felt a dark force lurking nearby. His face began to tense up like a drawn string. Is it the intent to kill? At that moment, a cow with 2 pairs of long horns was hovering in the air, looking down below. This is indeed the scent, it's true. The soul residue of that woman has indeed escaped to the lower world. Both of them could sense the evil energy because it had brought its body here not for a good purpose, Golden Horn Demon King. Killing her would be a great achievement. The only problem is that they don't know where she is hiding in this mountain now. However, it was as impulsive as cream, it had just arrived and was already itching to make a move. That's right. Let's just split this mountain in half. I don't believe she won't show up. Saying that, the Golden Horn Demon King immediately used a technique to create a brilliant slash. Go! Its attack shot forward like a rocket, then collided with the ground with an earth-shattering impact. At that moment, the scythe-like attack was rushing straight toward Xiaohei. It is true that the little demon was extremely unfortunate when it had to endure one calamity after another. In the moment before preparing to ascend, it shut its eyes tightly, not daring to think. However, at this moment, Xiaohei's mind was filled with the moment Yi Kong had entrusted it with the responsibility of protection, so it could not stand by and watch the sect be in danger without taking action. Xiaohei bravely stepped forward to disrupt the attack from the Golden Horn Demon King. The axe flew back into the hands of the Golden Horn Demon King, who was infuriated by a tiny ant interrupting its work. Where did this little demon come from to dare interrupt this king's business? At that moment, Xiaohei waved its 2 antennae to communicate with the Golden Horn Demon King. After listening, the king understood why Xiaohei was acting this way. You say you are the spirit beast protector of this mountain, preventing me from destroying it? However, in the face of Xiaohei's disapproval, the Golden Horn Demon King did not care and was even angrier. A little demon that hasn't even transformed dares to instruct this king on how to act. Let me chop you into pieces first. But at that moment, from a distance, a stone was suddenly thrown. Just as the Golden Horn Demon King was about to send Xiaohei to meet its ancestors, the stone had stopped it in its tracks. He looked down below, eyes wide and mouth agape, because the master of this place had appeared. Faced with the disturbance of this uninvited guest, Yi Kong also could not ignore it. I am the master of Shiao Peak. Dare to come here to create trouble and injure my spirit beasts, who are you? If he genuinely wanted to know, the Golden Horn Demon King was ready to speak. Little guy, listen carefully. I am the Golden Horn Demon King, under the orders of the Demoness Lord to capture Empress Lin Tion. I know that this person is currently hiding in this mountain. If you obediently hand this person over, I might spare your life. Yi Kong immediately switched to a domineering mode and responded sharply. You tell me to hand someone over? Even the heavenly Tao shouldn't think of demanding anyone from my Xiaoyao Peak. What is a demoness even? At this moment, since the Golden Horn Demon King had not yet seen the coffin and shed no tears, he remained very arrogant. Just a mere chi refiner dares to speak disrespectfully to the Demoness Lord. At this point, the Golden Horn Demon King suddenly donned a suit of armor that emitted a glaring golden light. The Xinghe sect will be destroyed because of your ignorance. Seeing outsiders who knew nothing about his life meddling and judging, Yi Kong found it very amusing. Am I ignorant? Do you know how I exist? I don't want to beat around the bush anymore. If the Golden Horned Bull wants to play, then Yi Kong will wreak havoc with it. In the next moment, before it could do anything, it was controlled by my enormous hand. This shocked the Golden Horned Bull. Previously, it looked down on Yi Kong, but now it was left speechless before the power of this supreme being. Who are you? How can someone at the refined chi stage have such magical talent? In front of its confused fawn-like face, Yi Kong extended his hand, emitting streams of light. Of course, I am at the refined chi stage. Surprised, old man. Then he revealed a mind-blowing truth. But I am at the 3000 level refined chi stage. The moment Yi Kong clenched his fist was when his gigantic hand crushed the golden horned demon king. A green hand emerged from the void. After completing the task, the hand returned Yi Kong its demon pill, and of course, this special gift would be given to his beloved pet. Come here, Xiao He, this is the demon pill of that bull demon. Swallowing it will be very beneficial for you. With sparkling eyes, Xiao He quickly obeyed Yi Kong and ingested the demon pill. At that moment, her whole body began to glow and undergo a transformation. The next second, a magical event occurred as Xiao He turned into an incredibly adorable girl. She was very surprised by her new appearance, so she started to touch everything under the scrutinizing gaze of Yi Kong. Have I transformed? After escaping her life as an ant, Xiao He was overjoyed, as if she had won the lottery, and embraced Yi Kong tightly. Thank you, Master, for helping me transform. I will definitely use this body to repay your great kindness. Hearing this, Yi Kong felt a bit awkward. What do you mean by repaying with your body? Saying that can easily lead to misunderstandings. However, seeing her so happy today, he didn't want to argue too much. Well then, let's just leave it like this for now. I will teach her how to speak like a person later. On one early morning, with a hazy purple mist hovering over the mountain peaks, Tion was sitting in a corner, focusing on her cultivation with a green dragon surrounding her. Suddenly, while closing her eyes, Tion opened them wide, staring straight ahead. Then she raised her hand, emanating a powerful source of energy and commanding the dragon to fly forward. Following this, a colossal column of water surged high as if nearly touching the clouds that were floating in the sky. When successfully achieving my goal, Tion's heart bloomed like spring. The 9 Dragons transformation is the primary skill when I became the empress, and I have finally mastered it. Previously, I had received the book from Yi Kong quite reluctantly, but after a while, Tion realized its usefulness. Thanks to the profound sovereign manual, unexpectedly, this skill can expand the spiritual sea, allowing me to practice the 9 Dragons transformation even at the refined chi stage. It seems I did not choose the wrong master. However, suddenly Yi Kong approached from behind as if reading Tion's mind and said something that made her gasp. Of course, you didn't choose wrong. Choosing me as your master is the smartest decision of your life. At this moment, the monster inside Tion began to roar, questioning him. Master, why are you hiding behind me and eavesdropping? He pretended to be a confused deer and explained, I wasn't eavesdropping. I came here to fish. From a distance, I saw you blowing up fish in the sea of suffering. Indeed, they were no different from cats and dogs, as every time she met him, it led to conflict. I wasn't blowing up fish, I was practicing. If you weren't my master, I would have already suppressed you with one hand. Seeing Tion like a diligent bee, Yi Kong was also curious about her progress. You're really diligent. So, how far have you practiced the profound sovereign technique? What realm have you reached? Upon hearing this, Tion smiled triumphantly as it was her moment to flex. Finally, you asked. If the master knew I've practiced to the 5th level, he would definitely be amazed by my talent. Tion clasped her hands together with an expression that couldn't be more smug. Reporting to you, Master, your disciple has been practicing all night and has reached the 5th level of the profound sovereign technique. As expected, upon hearing this, Yi Kong was shocked and speechless. The 5th level. In response to Yi Kong's reaction, Tion giggled with satisfaction. Indeed, the master is so astonished that he can't find the words. I have the talent of a great emperor. You'll have to get used to it. However, he was truly shocked, not because she was amazing, but because she was underperforming. In the past, I learned the profound sovereign technique in just the time it takes to drink a cup of tea, yet she has been practicing all night and only made it to the 5th level. Her talent is lacking. At this moment, feeling her own strength surging, Tion suddenly remembered Xiao He. Master, where is Xiao He? Yesterday, I wasn't feeling very well, and today I want to challenge it a bit. At this moment, the old man from Shiao Peak and his followers had arrived here. Searched thoroughly, don't miss any spots. In the presence of these uninvited guests, Yi Kong remained very calm. Disciples of Shiao Peak, why don't you stay at Shiao Peak to breed and come to Shiao Peak instead? Are you here to breed the turtle in this stagnant pond? It's not a pleasant joke, and he was already tense. He didn't have time to joke with Yi Kong, so he said seriously, we came to look for spirit beasts. Whether the turtle in this stagnant pond breeds or not has nothing to do with Shiao Peak. On the surface, he appeared careless, but inside, he silently acknowledged, it seems that Xiao Hei's transformation last night caused too much commotion and was discovered by the old man of Shiao Peak. Tion, regardless of how amazing she was, when facing others invading her territory and shamelessly demanding things, she was straightforward. If Shiao Peak has spirit beasts, then they belong to Shiao Peak. What does it have to do with Shiao Peak? However, at that moment, a new face appeared. No. And the extremely flamboyant young man standing in front of them was Qin Shou, Feng Zi Shiao Peak, Cultivation Golden Elixir. According to the sect rules of the Xinghe sect, any spirit beasts that are unclaimed can be captured by any sect. Therefore, even if the spirit beasts are at Shiao Peak, it does not mean they belong to your Shiao Peak. However, Tion was not afraid of anyone and said directly, then you are late. The spirit beasts you are looking for have accepted my master as their owner. Yet they heard every word clearly but were still not convinced and demanded, really? Whether the spirit beasts recognize your master as their owner cannot be determined by your words, it must be confirmed by the spirit beasts themselves. What you say doesn't count. Then they pressed forward, speaking non-stop. The spirit beasts have not yet transformed and basically cannot speak. You were initially planning to rob them outright. This is indeed robbery. I didn't say that, but if you insist on thinking that way, then so be it. The old man from Shiao Peak waved his hand and ordered to bring Xiao Hei over. What are you standing there for? Hurry and find the spirit beasts. Seeing her master looking dazed like someone who had just come down from the mountain, Tion began to formulate a plan. My master is only at the refined chi stage, I cannot rely on him to protect the dignity of Shiao Peak. Although I am at the refined chi stage as well, I have the memories from my previous life and the imperial level skills within me. The establishment of the foundation for monks is usually not a match for us. She looked at Qin Shou with a piercing gaze, only this person, but he is at the golden elixir stage, he probably wouldn't lower himself to fight me. After carefully assessing the situation, Tion decided to go all out. You're too arrogant. Today, I, Lin Tion, will let you know that there are people at Shiao Peak. Indeed, she was gifted in cultivation. Just one move from her was enough to make them spit blood. In the next moment, when they all collapsed to the ground like wheat, both Tion and Qin Shou were left wide-eyed and speechless. However, it turned out that the one responsible for this incident was not Tion. What happened? I haven't even made a move. He felt furious at being played with. Who dares to ambush a disciple of Shiao Peak? If you have the ability, come out. Speaking of which, the old man from Shiao Peak was suddenly met with a strike just as he wanted. Intruder at Shiao Peak, expel him. Surprisingly for the old man, the one who caused all this was Xiao Hei, who had transformed. Just a moment ago, Qin Shou had a contemptuous expression, but now he stood frozen in astonishment. Tion quickly turned to Yi Kong in confusion. Xiao Hei. She clearly hasn't transformed yet. With his acting better than a Hollywood actor, he glossed over it. Maybe there's something unusual going on. Qin Shou's eyes lit up like a car's headlights when he saw the delicious treat in front of him. Another spirit beast transformation. If I can get that, my combat power will increase by at least 50%. It has to be mine. He then quickly proposed a trade with Yi Kong. Yi uncle, I'll exchange this high-grade foundation establishment pill for that spirit beast, how about it? Disciple, given your uncle's talent, don't mention high-grade foundation establishment pills, even a peak-grade foundation establishment pill would be useless for establishing foundations, so it doesn't help me. At this moment, Tion, who was listening, felt embarrassed. How poor is the talent, really? Then, suddenly, Qin Shou's face darkened as if it were the end of the world. If uncle doesn't want to trade, then I will take my leave. How unusual. Indeed, a scheming person like him wouldn't easily let things go and would resort to tricks to capture her. It was too late to resist. Now Xiao He was caught, tightly bound by Qin Shou's trick. He seemed to be struck by a laughing nerve and burst into laughter. "Yi uncle, you are only at the refined Qi stage, how can you have the right to possess transformed spirit beasts? Hand it over to me so that I can serve the Xing sect better." In the meantime, although Yi Kong was standing still, Tian was extremely enraged and charged forward, shameless. Seeing a woman like her daring to fight against him, Qin Shou was not afraid and extended his hand to counter the attack. "You at the refined Qi stage dare to strike at me." Suddenly at this moment, it seemed she stumbled back a little. However, just a moment ago he had mocked Tian, and now Qin Shou had to reconsider. Her strike made the blood Qi in my body surge. Is she really just at the refined Qi stage? Fearing they might escalate the situation, he placed a hand on her shoulder to stop her. "Enough, don't fight anymore." However, with her strong and tenacious nature, she would not allow herself to stop. "Master, don't stop me. Today, no matter what happens, I cannot let this shameless man leave." Then, to Tian's astonishment, Yi Kong reassured her, "Rest assured, he won't be able to take Xiao He. The ancient mythical beast has used the inner den of the Demon King. How could it be bound by the magic weapon of a golden elixir cultivator? And of course, this secret is known only to him." Xiao He instantly broke the ropes binding Qin Shou. He now looked like a cow caught by surprise, mouth wide open in disbelief, ready to drop his jaw to the ground. "What, my love binding rope?" After breaking free from Qin Shou's restraints, she sprinted forward like a marathon runner. You bastard, I'll kill you." Now it was time for Xiao He to get her revenge. However, Qin Shou wasn't dumb enough to just sit there and accept it. He quickly pulled out a fan to shield himself. "Want to poke my eyes? But how could I let you have your way? I'll block." Yet Qin Shou was still too inexperienced, as the part she aimed for wasn't his eyes but his nostrils. She swiftly jabbed in, causing him immense discomfort. Unfortunately for Qin Shou, before he could react much, Xiao He had already grabbed him and tossed him far away. Exile the bad guy. Now, Qin Shou laid sprawled on the ground with nostrils as big as wagon wheels. Even his spirit beasts turned against him, teasing, "Big pig nose." Tian seemed to be taken from one surprise to another as she witnessed the increasingly bizarre events. Golden elixir cultivator defeated by Xiao He in one move. Isn't it already the Demon King? After completing her task well, Xiao He happily boasted to Yi Kong, "Master, I have defeated the intruders." In response to her performance, he patted her head with satisfaction. "Not bad, not bad. I knew you, Xiao He, would do well in your mountain duty. Keep it up." Now that everything had been resolved, Yi Kong suddenly recalled something equally interesting. "Oh right, disciple, didn't you say you wanted to challenge Xiao He earlier?" However, after witnessing Xiao He's domineering and impressive strength, Tian wanted to make a quick exit. "No need, I might be a bit tired from staying up late. I'm going to rest now." But Xiao He was not willing to let her off that easily. "Then tomorrow, let's have a match." Given Tian's current strength, Yi Kong reminded himself to try harder to help her. "Really, I've taken on a foolish disciple. I need to think of a way to increase her cultivation." At this time, the night had enveloped the entire landscape, leaving only the bright moon high above. A mysterious group appeared, looking extremely dangerous. It seemed that disaster was about to strike again. Yi Kong returned to his tranquil lifestyle, sitting alone by the riverside, fishing late into the night. He put the basket down on the ground, with a fishing rod slung over his shoulder, preparing to become a child of the sea. The sky is dark and the wind is strong. Tonight is a wonderful time to go fishing. I have a feeling we will have a great catch today. He wore a calm expression, lightly smiling, gazing at the starry night sky before him. However, amid such a picturesque scene, Yi Kong was being watched by the group of the old man Shiao Peak. This Yi Kong thinks that with spirit beasts in disguise helping him, he can look down on us and leisurely go fishing. Senior brother, those spirit beasts are really powerful. Can he really control them? But since he had prepared everything thoroughly, the old man was very confident that he could deal with Yi Kong. Rest assured, to handle the spirit beasts in disguise, the Master Peak Lord has specially assigned the Wind Master Han Yu Kim Bat. No matter how powerful the spirit beasts in disguise are, they won't be able to stir up any big troubles. But to prevent Yi Kong from interfering, they were still very obsessed with Xiao He and secretly discussed among themselves about capturing her at all costs. I brought all beast enchanting incense, which can incapacitate over 10,000 demon beasts. That useless person refining qi will surely sleep for a whole month after inhaling it. As soon as he finished speaking, they didn't wait any longer and immediately heated it up. A few incense sticks were thrown towards Yi Kong, and as soon as they landed on the ground, they caught his attention. At that moment, Yi Kong pretended to be clueless and asked, "Hey, who is burning incense at this late hour?" They saw this and, thinking he had fallen for their trick, laughed gleefully. The next moment, Yi Kong picked up an incense stick and sniffed it, feeling it was familiar. Strange, this smell is somewhat similar to the nicotine I used to smoke. I'll keep this for when I need to be alert. He not only did not throw it away but also set it down on the ground, keeping it close to him. This bizarre Canadian incident left them utterly confused, and they became agitated. How can he not be knocked out? Could it be the dosage isn't enough? Quickly throw all the all-beast enchanting incense you have on you. I don't believe I can't make you faint. They were as angry as monkeys eating chili and continuously hurled incense towards him, determined to turn Yi Kong into a princess who sleeps in the woods. The scene opened with Yi Kong fishing as dusk fell. Surrounding him were floating cigarettes. Suddenly, he seemed to notice the movement of the fishing line. Yi Kong then lifted the fishing rod, and as a result, he caught a goldfish. He happily exclaimed, "Haha! I knew right away that there would be a harvest tonight." Then the fish was grilled to serve for his dinner. Seeing Yi Kong using all-beast enchanting incense to grill the fish, the old man from Shiao Peak couldn't help but feel angry, shouting, "This guy is using our all-beast enchanting incense to smoke the fish." He hurriedly tried to extinguish the smoke while exclaiming in surprise, "What is going on? Did he take the wrong one? This is definitely not all-beast enchanting incense." Yi Kong was sitting there enjoying the grilled fish when he casually glanced over at them. The people from Shiao Peak had all collapsed on the ground from the effects of the incense. Elsewhere, countless ants were crawling on the ground. Xiao He tore the steamed buns into small pieces and dropped them on the ground, saying, "The master says this is called a steamed bun. I find it particularly delicious. You all should try it too." Suddenly, Qin Shou appeared from somewhere, a fiercely looking bird perched on his shoulder. He said, "Miss, you have been deceived by Yi Kong. These steamed buns are food for lowly beings. He clearly does not value you by offering you these buns." The bird echoed his words, does not value. Sensing the danger, Xiao He quickly moved away from him and said, "The villain, daring to speak ill of the master in front of me, I won't spare you." Qin Shou suddenly broke into a sinister smile, pulled out the bowl, and commanded, "Spirit collecting golden bowl, take her for me." Xiao He hadn't fully recovered from her surprise when she was sucked into the bowl. She was trapped inside that bowl. Qin Shou laughed and said, "Even if she is a spirit beast transformed, so what? Isn't she still captured by the spirit collecting golden bowl?" She looked at him with resentment but could do nothing. Qin Shou continued to threaten, "You ought to obediently follow me back to Shiao Peak and acknowledge me as your master. I guarantee you'll have gourmet food that you can't finish." Xiao He used all her strength to try to escape from the bowl, but it was all in vain. He continued, "Go ahead, strike away, you can hit as you wish. This spirit-collecting golden bowl is a treasure of Shiao Peak. I can imprison even yawning ferocious beasts. Even if you exert all your strength, don't expect to make a crack." Suddenly, a streak of light swept across the bowl, causing Qin Shou to widen his eyes in surprise. He looked around in trembling and shouted, "Who?" Qin Shou continued to look but saw no one. He was cautious, silently thinking, the people from Xiaoyao Peak must be knocked out by now. Could it be that other peaks are also targeting transformed spirit beasts? The night is long and dream-filled, it's best to bring the spirit beasts back to Shiao Peak soon. Suddenly, he looked panic-stricken at the bowl. He was extremely surprised, unable to believe his eyes because the bowl had been pierced and broken by a fishbone. He quickly shouted, "What? The demon gold bowl has been pierced by a fishbone again, how can this be?" Seizing the opportunity, Xiao He immediately unleashed her strength. She used all her power to throw a strong punch at Qin Shou's face, catching him off guard. The punch knocked him back far. Qin Shou couldn't believe his eyes, saying, My gold bowl." It seemed there was a wave of dark energy waiting for Qin Shou to face. Xiao He had truly exploded with rage. Realizing the danger before him, he hurriedly raised his hands to surrender. "Miss, I will leave Xiao Peak myself now, you don't need to take action anymore." Xiao He clenched her fists, her face showing extreme anger. Under the night sky, Qin Shou's scream echoed far, causing his bird beast perched high above to tremble in fear. Transitioning to the early morning the next day. Tian rubbed her eyes after a night of sleep. She quickly stretched and yawned. "Last night's cultivation was great. Why did I suddenly fall asleep? Well then, let's go to the room to wash my face." As she was walking, she suddenly discovered something. Seeing Qin Shou slumped against a tree, she took a fighting stance and said, "Shiao Peak, you are being too arrogant. You came to Shiao Peak early in the morning to block my door, this is forcing me to take action." Qin Shou looked up, revealing a face swollen with bruises, his expression filled with silent grievance. Seeing this, Tian was alarmed and kicked, sending Qin Shou flying. His beast called out, "Big pig head! Big pig head! Big pig head!" He looked very miserable at that moment, silently telling himself, I will never dare to go to Shiao Peak again." At Heavenly Sword Peak, people gathered to watch a martial arts performance in the yard from a distance. Everyone was very surprised, all showing expressions of admiration. The source of their astonishment came from Chongqing's display. He was performing a very skillful sword dance. "Everyone, watch closely." Then he leaped high and said, "This move is called the soul-seeking door, which amazes everyone." Then he jumped to the ground, causing the tiles to crack. The people around began to discuss and highly praise Chongqing's skills. One person said, "The sword technique of the senior brother can transform into 9 streams of sword chi. Today has truly opened my eyes." Another agreed, "That's right, do you think the title of Little Sword God was given for fun?" Someone remarked, "If in this life I can reach even half the level of the senior brother, it would not be a wasted life." Chongqing turned to smile, thinking to himself, "With your level, being able to practice 1/10 of my skills would already be a blessing from your ancestors, and you still ask for half." His expression changed, looking very angry. He thought, "This year's new disciple indeed has talent, only Lin Tion, but she rejected my invitation to join Shiao Peak." Suddenly, a young lady said to Chongqing, "Senior brother, I didn't quite understand the move just now, could you please point it out for me?" Then other young ladies followed suit, exclaiming, "Teach me too, senior brother, I also don't fully understand, please teach me." And the scene that was bound to happen came. The girls were competing to be taught by Chongqing. One said, "I am the first to seek guidance from senior brother." Another argued, "Senior brother is not just yours." He suddenly realized something, "I understand now, I know why she rejected me." So he began to imagine the illusion realm. The girls gathered around, hoping to be taught, thinking, Lin Tion must have known that I was admired by the female disciples, so she deliberately rejected me. Then he laughed loudly and said, "Haha, this soft tactic is really good." He smiled wickedly, thinking, Lin Tion, you have indeed succeeded in attracting my attention. But if I have understood everything, how can I let you continue to be with that useless person? Lin Tion, you wait, I will come to Shiao Peak to pick you up. At Shiao Peak, Tian was sitting seriously practicing martial arts. Suddenly, a voice broke her concentration, Tian sister, I came to discuss with you. Xiao He was running towards her, calling, Tian sister. But strangely, Tian was no longer there. Xiao He wondered, hey, why can't I see her? That was because Tion had run away at light speed. She silently thought with fear, with my current cultivation, I am definitely no match for Xiao He. In short, I should avoid her as much as possible before foundation establishment. While fleeing, she encountered Chongqing, who was also looking for her. He hurriedly greeted, Lin Jr. sister, how have you been? Unfortunately, Tion could not remember him. She asked, who are you? He panicked and explained, I am Chen Chongqing, the disciple of Heavenly Sword Peak. During the recruitment ceremony, I invited Lin Jr. sister to join Heavenly Sword Peak. She tried to remember and suddenly realized, oh, there was someone like you. Tion raised an eyebrow in confusion, what are you doing at Xiao Peak? Is Heavenly Sword Peak aiming for Xiao He as well? Chongqing asked in bewilderment, Xiao He? What is that? He quickly smiled and invited, this time I came just to invite Lin Jr. sister to cultivate at Heavenly Sword Peak. She turned her back and bluntly refused, no. I am a disciple of Xiao Peak, why should I go to Heavenly Sword Peak to cultivate? He quickly grabbed her arm, raised a book, and said, wait. As long as Lin Jr. sister agrees to join Heavenly Sword Peak, I will impart the supreme skill and the Wind Shadow Sword formula to you. She looked at the notebook in astonishment, thinking, the ultimate wind control technique. In the past, the profound sovereign taught me the master technique that helped me greatly increase my cultivation. If this Wind Shadow Sword formula has a similar effect, I can't let it slip away. Tion smiled and asked, Chen senior brother, can I take a look at this Wind Shadow Sword formula first? He quickly replied, of course, Lin Jr. sister, feel free to take a look. Looking at the unique techniques in the book, she couldn't help but be amazed and asked, Chen senior brother, did you take the wrong one? Is this really the mystical grade swordsmanship? Chongqing grinned slyly and answered, that's right. Moreover, this is not ordinary swordsmanship, but a top-tier mystical grade swordsmanship at the peak of the 9 levels, extremely precious. Lin Jr. sister, you must seize this great opportunity. Her face darkened, and she thought angrily, martial arts in the world can be divided into 6 ranks, divine, holy, celestial, earth, mysterious, and yellow. The imperial swordsmanship I practiced was at least at the celestial level. He dared to deceive me with a mystic grade. She hurriedly threw the notebook back at him and said, senior brother, this swordsmanship is too powerful, I can't learn it. I'll continue to stay at Xiao Peak. Chongqing was taken aback and quickly tried to hold on. Junior sister, don't go. I'll teach you. He was furious and thought to himself, if I had known she would complain about it being difficult, I should have used the swordsmanship of the armor instead. The sky was at dusk, nearly dark, when suddenly a hand reached out toward a strange object and said, it's time. Yi Kong cast a spell, harnessing the light emanating from the strange orb, and suddenly a tremendous source of power flowed into him. Yi Kong held the magical broom and said with a smile, the broom made from phoenix feathers contains the essence of the great Tao. Good disciple, you have joined my sect of Xiao Peak, you just need to lie still as the master takes you flying. At this moment, Tion was comfortably enjoying her bath when Yi Kong suddenly rushed in, surprising her. He cheerfully said, disciple, master has brought you something good. She angrily shouted, master, why did you come in without knocking? Yi Kong aggrievedly said, you keep hiding in the bathroom, no wonder your cultivation speed is so slow. Hurry up and get dressed. Master has something to tell you. I am waiting for you outside. This only made Tion angrier. She gritted her teeth and yelled, again saying my cultivation speed is slow. Tion cursed inwardly, I have already broken through from the 6th to the 8th level of refined chi these past few days at Xiao Peak. Not mentioning it to avoid scaring you. Then, she had already put on her clothes and went out to ask, Master, what do you want me for? Yi Kong then took out a feather duster and boasted, look at this item that Master has prepared for you. It will help you with your cultivation. Tion gasped in shock and said, no, you don't want me to use this feather duster to clean, do you? My room is already very clean and doesn't need sweeping. Then, he grabbed her hand and ran while saying, sweep? No, it's for hitting people. Tion's face darkened as she angrily thought, how dare a regular refined chi cultivator like you hit me. She shook Yikong's hand off and shouted, Master, please go outside, if not, don't blame me for suppressing you. Yikong cheerfully, seemingly oblivious to Tion's attitude, placed a hand on her shoulder and said, Disciple, trust Master, just one incense stick. Hurry up and lie face down on the bed. Tion shouted loudly, come out. She swung her hand to attack Yikong, but he easily dodged. She was surprised because she didn't think he could evade her. Yikong stood behind, waving the feather duster, leaving Tion unable to react in time. Tion had a strange feeling. She blushed, thinking, what is this feeling? It's coming straight to my head. No, I can't hold back much longer. Yikong chuckled and reminded her, Disciple, focus your mind and feel the intention of the great Tao. Tion screamed as she felt as if countless hands were touching her body. She gradually became excited, thinking, yes, this is the intention of the great Tao. It turns out that Master's feather duster is indeed a treasure, I have misunderstood him. She shyly lay face down on the bed and pleaded, Master, please whip me. Just then, Chongqing rushed in from somewhere. He smirked, thinking, Lin Jr. sister, I've found a mid-grade sword formula for you, I guarantee you'll learn it. Suddenly, his expression changed upon hearing, Master, please give me power. He glanced through the shadow of Tion's room. Seeing Yikong swinging the feather duster to hit Tion, he couldn't help but be shocked. He was furious, gritting his teeth and shouting loudly, You. Yikong, if you dare to touch my woman, I will kill you. Suddenly, Xiao Hei's vision darkened, and a person full of hidden weapons appeared out of nowhere, striking him on the head with a stick, causing Chongqing to fall forward. Then, she looked down at him with disdain, pulled Chongqing's unconscious body, and said, Is that all you can do, and yet you dare to threaten the master? The scene shifted to the morning, with Tion sleeping soundly. She slowly opened her eyes and stretched, yawning, Is it morning already? She hurriedly adjusted her posture and groaned, It hurts, it hurts, it hurts. Remembering how she had begged Yikong to hit her and feeling embarrassed, she thought, That's right, yesterday I told the master to hit me, but he really didn't hold back at all, showing no mercy. Tion contemplated for a moment and then decided, having been hit like that cannot be in vain, I must see if my cultivation has increased. She began to concentrate on her training, and a powerful source of magical energy immediately surrounded Tion. This source of energy manifested as a towering structure. She was astonished, her mouth agape, thinking, What? I have already reached refining chi level 9. Before being struck by the master, I was only at refining chi level 7. So what kind of magic weapon is that feather duster that can help me increase 2 minor realms? Tion hurriedly changed her clothes, telling herself, Don't think about that anymore. If I'm already at refining chi level 9, I should break through to the foundation establishment realm. First, I need to prepare the items for foundation establishment. She changed into a brilliant outfit, her aura becoming captivating. She said, It's just that this empress has extraordinary talent. Using ordinary foundation establishment items will only waste my talent and hinder my development. She raised an eyebrow, shook her head and happily said, This Xinghe sect definitely doesn't have foundation establishment items worthy of me. Fortunately, I have prepared ahead of time to use the pieces I set up from my previous life. Then, she clasped her fingers together and recited some kind of incantation. Her hand projected that source of power and said, Go. The next morning, at the headquarters of the Tian Market City, the president of the Tian Market City, Xiao Yuan, was calculating the accounts. This month's spirit stone income is 30% more than last month. It seems the batch of elixirs imported last time is very popular. However, the cost of coral from Nangang has significantly increased, so we need to think of a way to enhance its value. Then, with years of experience, an idea suddenly struck him. That's right, just say this coral is ground into powder and mixed with water for drinking, claiming it has the effect of nourishing the kidneys and strengthening yang. I can't believe it won't sell for a high price. Immediately after, a letter from the Tian Emperor of Heaven reached Xiao Yuan. He calmly asserted, "This is the heavenly sound transmission talisman from His Majesty. His Majesty is still alive." He read the words in front of him with a contemplative expression and continued to speculate, "His Majesty is asking me to prepare foundation establishment items. It seems that even though His Majesty is not dead, he has lost all his cultivation. Otherwise, why would he have to start cultivating from scratch?" Unlike Tian's thoughts, Xiao Yuan immediately waved his hand to dismiss those lines, with a sly smile, muttering, "Your Majesty, the top-notch foundation establishment item you desire, I do have, but why should I give it to you for free? Do you really still think you're the Empress, feared by all?" Then, he pulled out a bone from the mouth of his black pet, looking pleased as he gazed at the bone, and laughed, "Thinking of the past bond we shared as ruler and minister, I will gift you a piece of Shika bone. You can go ahead and use it for foundation establishment." At the same time, at Shiao Peak, Xinghe Sect, Yi Kong was carrying a wooden box towards Tian's room. While walking, he cheerfully mumbled, "My disciple has reached the 9th level of Qi refinement. As a master, I naturally have to prepare foundation establishment items for her. This phoenix bone contains true phoenix blood essence, and it's most suitable for my disciple to use it for foundation establishment." But when he arrived at the door, he suddenly remembered the accident from before and stopped. "Wait, don't tell me she is taking a bath in her room again." Yi Kong decided to stand outside, knock on the door, and call out, "Disciple, it's master, may I come in now?" At that moment, Tian was applying medicine, her face flushed like a raspberry, and she hurriedly shouted back, "Master, don't come in yet. If you have something to say, just say it outside." Hearing her voice, he thought to himself, "Indeed, she is taking a bath again, lucky I asked first." Yi Kong gently scratched his head and said, "It's nothing much, it's just that master sees you have reached the 9th level of Qi refinement, so I prepared foundation establishment items for you. I placed it outside your door, remember to take it in." Saying that, he placed the box down, feeling joyful as he thought, "Later when my disciple sees the foundation establishment item I prepared, it will be the phoenix bone. It would surely be moving enough to make me cry." Then he turned away and left, saying as he walked, "But what I hate the most is seeing girls cry. How about going fishing instead?" Not long after, the bird sent by Xiao Yuan also delivered the items. Its beak clamped onto the box containing the bone fragment. The bird opened its mouth, letting the box fall freely. It landed beside the box that Yi Kong had placed. Therefore, when Tian opened the door, she saw the 2 boxes on the ground and couldn't help but wonder, why are there 2 boxes? She looked up and noticed the delivery bird, realizing, so the foundation establishment item Xiao Yuan sent has arrived too. Let me see if the foundation establishment item he sent is a supreme item. Tian opened the smaller box first, picked up the tiny bone fragment, and her face immediately darkened as she said indignantly, "Crimson bird precious bone. He dares to use this to gloss over for me." Then she glanced at the larger box nearby and changed her mind, "Wait, the crimson bird precious bone must be a gift from the master. The foundation establishment item I asked Xiao Yuan to send is probably in this wooden box." However, since the small box disappointed her, she couldn't help but grimace nervously when opening the large box. The light from the treasure shone directly into her face. When the box was fully opened, the light inside was so bright that she had to shield her eyes with her hand. Tian completely misunderstood, letting out a relieved breath, muttering, "Right, this is the supreme foundation establishment item I've been wanting. Xiao Yuan has put in effort, I didn't misjudge him." She then looked at the small box with the chewed dog bone and gently said, "With the master's ability, acquiring this Zikio Baogo bone is already the limit. I accept this goodwill." Tian placed the phoenix Baogo on a pillow, while she sat in meditation preparing for the breakthrough. She utilized her spiritual energy to make the bone levitate in the air, her face full of confidence and satisfaction, saying, "This time with the supreme foundation establishment item, I will definitely achieve a perfect foundation establishment. After a while, surpassing the previous life won't be difficult." At that time, I will raise Shiao Peak with my left hand and lift Xing He Sect with my right, and the master will obediently kneel beneath my pomegranate skirt. Saying that, she closed her eyes, focused her mind, and saw the spiritual energy in the room swirling toward Tion. Soon after, a giant red phoenix appeared atop Shiao Peak. Master Xing He Sect, Lin Tion was admiring the scenery when he was startled. His serious and agitated expression exclaimed, "A celestial phenomenon has appeared in the sky above Shiao Peak. Could it be that an extraordinary talent is breaking through on Shiao Peak?" The Grand Elder, who appeared out of nowhere, approached him and said, "Master, do you think that extraordinary talent is Yikong?" Lin Tion remained indifferent and calmly replied, "Whether it is him or not, we will know as soon as we go to Shiao Peak." The two flew toward Shiao Peak. Along the way, phoenix feathers fell like rain. Upon arriving, the Grand Elder confidently stated, "Master, this celestial phenomenon is right above the main hall of Shiao Peak. It must be caused by Yikong's foundation establishment, there is absolutely no doubt." Lin Tion stroked his beard, gazing at the beautiful scenery, smiled lightly and said, "I didn't expect that when Yikong is quiet, he can do just that, but once he takes action, it can shake the heavens and the earth. Previous masters in heaven will surely feel comforted." While Lin Tion was fishing, he was disturbed by this phoenix, and he complained unhappily, "What's with this phoenix making noise? It's scaring all my fish away." He lightly waved his hand a few times, expressing his annoyance. "The phoenix has dissipated. Go away, don't disturb my fishing." Lin Tion was delighted, but upon seeing this, he was shocked and exclaimed, "Why has this phenomenon suddenly disappeared?" The Grand Elder pointed to another mountain and exclaimed in surprise, "Master, look over there, the phenomenon has moved to the sky above Shiao Peak." This strange occurrence left Lin Tion stunned, pale, and astonished. "What's going on? Does this phenomenon actually know how to roam around?" The other disciples of Shiao Peak, seeing the phoenix suddenly appear, were all abuzz. "Hurry and come see what is happening in the sky." The master of Shiao Peak, Qin Wuyi, stood in the courtyard looking up at the phenomenon, joyfully exclaiming, "Don't panic, this is the phenomenon that appears when an extraordinary talent breaks through their realm." Hearing this, the disciples of Shiao Peak gathered together, curiously speculating, "Isn't Qin Shou's senior brother in seclusion to break through to the nascent soul stage? Could the extraordinary talent at the master mentioned be Qin Shou's senior brother?" Before long, Lin Tion and the Grand Elder also arrived. A disciple shouted loudly to announce, "Master, Grand Elder has arrived." As the two landed, Wu Yi stood straight, smiled industriously, and spoke. "Master, Grand Elder, are the two of you here because of this heavenly phenomenon?" Lin Tion stroked his beard and readily admitted, "That's right, Master Qin is currently at Shiao Peak." "Is there anyone breaking through?" Wu Yi clasped his hands in respect and reporting to Master, "Currently at Shiao Peak, only my disciple Qin Shou is in seclusion, breaking through to Yuaning." Upon hearing this, the Grand Elder calmly replied with a regretful expression, "It seems this heavenly phenomenon was created by Qin Shou and has nothing to do with Yikong." Wu Yi did not hide his disdain and jested, "Grand Elder, you are joking again. Yikong is merely a qi refining cultivator. What virtue or talent does he have to create a heavenly phenomenon?" Lin Tion then explained, "Master Qin is not aware that this heavenly phenomenon initially appeared at Shiao Peak, but it seems it was just passing through." After clarifying the situation, he left, not forgetting to instruct, "Now that the cause of the heavenly phenomenon is clear, we won't stay here much longer. After Qin Shou exits, have him come to Xing He Hall, I have a reward for him." Wu Yi respectfully clasped his hands to bid him farewell and responded dutifully. Qin Wu Yi expressed his gratitude to the master on behalf of his disciple. Though he appeared respectful, his eyes betrayed his dissatisfaction. He murmured, "You see, my disciple Qin Shou has the talent of a great emperor, so you want to steal him away? Lin Tion, how can I help you achieve your goal?" Once the master and Grand Elder had disappeared from view, he no longer concealed his ambitions and arrogantly declared, "This position of master will be yours for a few more years, until my disciple attains the great emperor realm, at which point the Xing He sect will have a new master." The next morning, Yikong was leisurely grilling the catch he had made the previous night. Very good. He took a skewer of vegetables to eat first, his face expressing happiness as he exclaimed, what could be more delightful than fishing and grilling skewers of meat in life? As Yi Kong was savoring his meal, the cheerful voice of Tion sounded, Master, I have established my foundation. He turned to see her gently landing, as beautiful as a fairy. That moment left him in awe. However, immediately after that, Yi Kong became so absorbed in the delicious food that he overlooked the beauty and casually replied, I know. Tion was shocked to see him so nonchalant, her mouth agape. Unwilling to accept it, she thought, I have already reached foundation establishment, how can master be so calm? No wonder he is just an old refined chi, showing no ambition at all. However, she had not given up, gracefully provoking, Master, now that I have reached the foundation establishment realm, is there nothing you want to say? In her heart, she lamented, this master is too lazy, I need tow him a little more. But Yi Kong basically didn't care. Holding a fishing rod in one hand and a skewer in the other, he lazily said, all right, I'll say a few words. You have just reached foundation establishment, you need to stabilize your realm well and not be arrogant. Your path ahead is still very long. These words left her speechless, her expression as if she had eaten something bitter, and she silently rebutted, Master, don't you feel embarrassed saying that? I have reached foundation establishment, while you are still in refined chi. You say I have no issues, but your face isn't red, and your heart isn't racing, is it really okay to say that? Just as she thought that, she heard a loud ringing bell. Tion had just arrived and, not knowing, asked blankly, what is that sound? Yi Kong put down the fishing rod and calmly explained, this is the sound of the bell that master uses to summon the masters of the 5 peaks for a council. He stood up, turned away, and did not forget to remind his disciple, Master has to attend a meeting, you stay at Shiao Peak and continue your cultivation, do not be lazy. Tion heard this and mechanically replied, yes, Master. In her heart, she protested, you are the only one on Shiao Peak, being lazy every day. After he left, she sighed helplessly like an old woman, it's difficult to have the master with me, from now on, Shiao Peak can only rely on me. A moment later, at a mountain of the master, in front of Xinghe Hall. Inside the hall, all the master peaks of the 5 sects gathered. Wu Yi and his newly advanced disciple asked, Master called the master peaks of our sects here, what is the important matter? Yang Tian sat on the throne and calmly explained, I summoned everyone to discuss 3 matters, but the master peak of Xiaoyao Peak has not arrived yet, let's wait a little longer. Hearing about Yi Kong, Wu Yi couldn't control his mouth and arrogantly said, what's the point of waiting for a master peak just to fill the numbers? I say, we might as well give Xiaoyao Peak to Yusho Peak, it would be good to cultivate more spirit beasts for the sect. As soon as he finished speaking, Yi Kong entered. He sarcastically said, Qin's senior brother's ambition is indeed great. Eager to annex Xiaoyao Peak, I opened the opportunity to expand power like this, not aiming for the position of master, right? He looked at the man with a half-smile. Feeling exposed, Wu Yi stammered, Yi Kong. He hurriedly shouted to clarify, you're talking nonsense, I didn't. In his mind, he anxiously thought, how did he see through me? Did I express myself so clearly? Qin Shou, with no regard for manners, interjected, his face showing clear excitement, loudly questioning, Yi Kong uncle, our master was delayed in discussions because you arrived late, yet you slander him by claiming he wants to aim for the position of master. You owe Yusho Peak an explanation. Yi Kong, without hesitation, retorted, looking disdainfully at the two, fine, as long as your master dares to accept the soul probing and claims he has no intention of becoming master, I will compensate Xiaoyao Peak to Yusho Peak. As soon as these words were uttered, Qin Shou was left speechless, fearfully stuttering, you. Yang Tian, unable to endure any longer, slammed his hand on the armrest and shouted angrily, enough. The more you talk, the more excessive it gets, both of you stop. If the masters of Wu Feng Peak are all present, then let's begin the discussion. These words put an end to the argument. Yang Tian was just about to start the program first, when someone jumped in and shouted, wait a minute. This time, it was Chun Yang who was dissatisfied. He pointed at the two disciples, Wu Yi, and condemned, although Yi Kong is only at the refined Qi level, he is still the master peak of Shiao Peak. But Qin Shou is merely a fengzi of Shiao Peak. What right does he have to participate in the discussions of the 5 peaks? Hearing this, Yi Kong felt agitated, his mouth twitching. He thought, this Chen Chunyang keeps dragging me into this whenever he mentions Qin Shou. He's exactly like his disciple, both equally annoying. Lin Tion maintained his calm demeanor and gently explained, I asked Master Qin to bring Xiao Qin here. In fact, this is exactly what I intended to discuss first. Lin Tion tossed an item to Qin Shou while announcing, Master Qin Shou of Shiao Peak has broken through to Yuaning, causing a phenomenon in heaven and earth, possessing the talent of a great emperor. As a special reward, he receives a Yuaning magic weapon. Qin Shou held the newly gifted magic weapon with both hands, his eyes shining like car headlights, and excitedly exclaimed, it's the purple gold pagoda. He beamed with joy, clasped his hands, and bowed, saying, Qin Shou thanks the master. Yi Kong shot a glare at Qin Shou, sneering before speaking up. Everyone says that Chen Changqing is the leader of the younger generation of our Xinghe sect, but Qin Shou has the talent of a great emperor, and it is likely that he will surpass him. Chun Yang, who is usually hot-tempered, couldn't hold back and yelled loudly, what great emperor talent. Since joining the sect, our Changqing has always been a rank above Qin Shou. If anyone has the talent of a great emperor, it should be our Changqing. Wu Yi refused to back down either, glaring with wide eyes and yelling back, that's nonsense. When Chen Changqing broke through to Yuaning, did he create any heavenly and earthly phenomena? Then the two argued back and forth like fishmongers. Chun Yang directly questioned, everyone knows that Shiao Peak has all kinds of nonsense, perhaps this heavenly and earthly phenomenon was fabricated by you. Wu Yi retorted excitedly, so, Chun Yang, are you implying that we at Shiao Peak fabricated it? He replied sharply, isn't that the case? If not, why would your disciple be worthy of creating a heavenly and earthly phenomenon? These old men were making such a ruckus that it seemed like they were about to fight. Lin Tion angrily shouted, everyone, be quiet. One is the master of Shiao Peak, and the other is the master of Heavenly Sword Peak. What kind of dignity is left after such a quarrel? But this time, the authority of the master was completely ineffective. Wu Yi bulged his eyes and arrogantly stated, Master, it was Chen Chunyang who provoked first, saying that my disciple is not as good as Chen Changqing. Chunyang also glared with bloodshot eyes, loudly proclaiming, I speak the truth. Qin Shou is indeed not as good as Chen Changqing. The two were now in the midst of a tug-of-war. Lin Tion's face darkened, and he declared, both Chen Changqing and Qin Shou are outstanding members of our younger generation from the Xinghe sect. As for who among them is stronger, we will see clearly during the upcoming 5 Peaks Grand Competition. Lin Tion then paused, his expression serious as he asked, may I inquire when Master intends to hold this 5 Peaks Grand Competition? Seeing the two had stopped, he then sternly announced, this is the second matter I wish to discuss today. In 15 months, the 5 Peaks Grand Competition, held once every 10 years, will officially take place. After you all return to your respective sects, remember to urge your disciples to diligently train and prepare well for this competition. At his command, all the masters complied and replied in unison, we respectfully obey Master's instructions. Lin Tion gestured and added, the Grand Elder has delivered a letter. As for the third matter to mention, there is a flood dragon running to disturb the De Yen Kingdom. The De Yen Kingdom does not have the strength to handle it, so they seek aid from our Xinghe sect. He took the letter, held it up to the Master Peaks, and boldly announced the mission. The De Yen Kingdom offers tribute to our Xinghe sect every year, so we cannot neglect them. Anyone among you who has time, please take care of this. Seeing an opportunity to show off, Qin Shou excitedly wanted to apply but was stopped by the master. Master, I, Qin Shou, am willing. Wu Yi glanced at Yi Kong and promptly proposed, providing several arguments. Among the master peaks of the 5 sects, if we talk about who is the most idle, apart from Yi Kong, who else is there? Moreover, since Yi Kong became the master of the Shiao Peak, he hasn't accomplished anything. Now there's an opportunity to contribute to the sect. How can we compete with him? Yi Kong knew what he was trying to do, sneered, and thought to himself, Qin Wu Yi is forcing me to take on this mission, there must be something shady about it. I won't accept it, what can you do to me? Just as he was about to refuse, the system abruptly appeared. It came to deliver a mission with an offer that couldn't be refused. Special mission. Host go to the Dayen Kingdom to handle a Sect mission. Reward, a clue prop for Foundation establishment for the host. Yi Kong looked at the reward, his eyes shining brightly, excitedly laughing maniacally. What is this clue prop for Foundation establishment? It turns out I can Foundation establish. So he eagerly agreed, much to the astonishment of his colleagues. I accept this mission. At this moment, Yi Kong was extremely excited, laughing like a madman and threatening. Don't compete with me. Anyone who does will have trouble with me. The Grand Elder, seeing him so impetuous, widened his eyes in shock. He turned to nod at Yang Tian. Seeing that no one objected, he decisively said, if ye Master Peak is this enthusiastic, then I will assign this mission to you. Qin Shou couldn't keep up with his master's thoughts, looking confused. Master, it's just a flood dragon, I can handle it. Why give this credit to Yi Kong? Wu Yi then let out a lewd laugh, his sly eyes looking at his disciple. You've always wanted to tame the spirit beast at Xiaoyao Peak, right? If he doesn't go down the mountain, how can I capture it and bring it back for you? A moment later, at Xiaoyao Peak, knowing that he was about to go kill the dragon, Tian exclaimed in shock, what? She panicked and worriedly exclaimed, Master, are you planning to go to the Dayen Kingdom to eliminate the flood dragon? Master, do you know what level of demon beast the flood dragon is? You're too reckless. Yi Kong hurried back and forth searching, not paying attention, and asked, what level? Tian immediately grabbed Xiao He and, with a serious expression, explained to him, even a newborn little flood dragon has the strength of a second-tier demon beast, equivalent to the Foundation establishment realm of humans. An adult flood dragon is at least a demon king, just like Xiao He's level. But Yi Kong didn't listen at all. He pulled an old wooden box from under the bed and joyfully exclaimed, ah, I found it. Seeing the dusty box, Tian was taken aback and asked, what treasure did you find? Yi Kong happily took out an old wooden sword, his face excited like a child, and said, it's the wooden sword I made myself when I practiced swordsmanship years ago. I thought I had burned it for firewood, but I didn't realize I had thrown it under the bed. Her words made her dumbfounded. His nonchalant attitude made her furious, and she shouted, have you not been listening to anything I've said? Yi Kong looked over his belongings with a confident and proud expression and reassured, I've heard everything. Don't mention just an ordinary flood dragon. Even if it's a true dragon, in the eyes of this master, it's no different from an eel, so you can rest assured. At this point, Tian was speechless. His beak twitched, wanting to scold someone. All I can do is scoff. In my past life as the empress, I wouldn't even dare say that. You're not just boasting anymore, it's like you're blasting off like an elephant. With one item obtained, Yi Kong left immediately, not forgetting to remind his disciple, alright, while I'm gone, you two should practice if you have time, or just rest if you don't. Just make sure not to leave Xiaoyao Peak. Xiao He cheerfully replied, oh, Xiao He won't go anywhere. Tian responded outwardly, disciple obeys. Inside, he sighed, the master really doesn't know his own strength. If I don't secretly protect him, he might not come back from the mountain at all. This emperor is genuinely worried for this careless master. After leaving Xiaoyao Peak, before setting off, he turned around and waved goodbye to Xiao He and Tian. Once Yi Kong disappeared from view, Tian warned Xiao He, stay obediently at Xiaoyao Peak. I'm going to protect the master. If not, I'm afraid that master will be eaten by that flood dragon until there's nothing left of him. Hearing that, Xiao He felt strange, does the master need Tian to protect him? A moment later, Tian climbed onto a branch and stealthily followed. Yi Kong was on his way to carry out a mission when he suddenly realized someone was following him. Tian was too obvious in her tracking. He simply thought she wanted to go out to clear her mind, and sighed to himself, really, Lin Tion is too playful. I told her to stay at Xiaoyao Peak to cultivate, yet she secretly followed me. Xiao He was still obedient. Thinking of Xiao He, he suddenly remembered the two disciples Wu Yi and became alert. But that old man Qin will surely take advantage of my absence to target Xiao He. I need to leave behind some precautions. So Yi Kong gently stepped down, releasing a wave of blue spiritual energy. He stepped down again, and the blue spiritual energy immediately spread out like a small wave, forming a strong dome-shaped barrier that covered Shiao Peak just seconds later. After setting up the protective cage, Yi Kong felt secure to leave. Now I can go deal with the monsters with peace of mind. Tian hid behind a tree, feeling the terrifying spiritual energy, her jaws trembling. What was that shock just now? Not long after, Yi Kong arrived at a bustling yet strangely deserted fortress. It was the site of an important mission, the imperial capital of the Deyan Kingdom. The ruler of the Deyan Kingdom was very excited upon hearing that someone from the Xinghe sect had arrived. What? The Xinghe sect has sent a master peak to eliminate evil. The messenger confirmed the news. That's right. He was tense, jumped to his feet, and eagerly asked, "Is it a man or a woman? How old?" The soldier reporting the news half knelt, looked up at him, and promptly replied, reporting to the ruler, "It is a man, looking very young, about 20 years old." Upon hearing this, his mind raced, his expression a mix of astonishment and joy. I see. A 20-year-old male master peak from the Xinghe sect. Without a moment's hesitation, the ruler opened his eyes wide with excitement and exclaimed, "The one who has come must be Chen Changqing, representing the master peak Heavenly Sword Peak." The old chancellor nearby chimed in enthusiastically with a great idea. "Ruler, Chen Changqing is known as the Little Sword God, the leader of the young generation of the Xinghe sect, with immeasurable potential. Why don't we take this opportunity to build a closer relationship with him?" The ruler wholeheartedly agreed with this idea, cheerfully exclaiming, "The chancellor makes a good point. Indeed, I know what to do now." So in this wonderful misunderstanding, Yi Kong was welcomed by the entire Deyan kingdom with the most solemn ceremony. The voice of the eunuch echoed, "The monarch of Deyan and all the officials welcome the envoy, Lord." Yi Kong approached with a serious expression, quite different from his usual self, but just a moment later, he reverted to his original form, cheerfully saying, "You are the monarch of Deyan kingdom? Then have someone guide me, I will go deal with the flood dragon causing trouble right away." The monarch had other plans. He winked and enthusiastically invited, "There's no rush, no rush. The envoy has come to our land to deal with the monsters, how can I not warmly host you?" Yi Kong, still reminiscing about the materials to advance to foundation establishment in the system, politely declined, "No need, I think we should resolve the issue first." The monarch signaled with his eyes, and two beautiful women wearing veils approached, smiling as they took his arm. Yi Kong, captivated by the ladies, changed his tone, "All right, then we will deal with the flood dragon after we eat." Tian, hiding not far away, was furious seeing this scene, silently mocking, "These small vassal countries really have no shame, flattering a chi refining cultivator like this. We have to think of a way to keep up and avoid letting the master be devoured by those two court ladies." After that, the monarch held a lavish banquet to welcome him. In the middle of the courtyard was a beautiful woman dressed in bright red clothing with dazzling jewelry, dancing while gazing lovingly at Yi Kong. After the performance, the monarch eagerly looked at him and asked, "What does your excellency think of this dancing girl?" Served by two beauties, Yi Kong chewed his food and replied, "Not bad, the beautiful girl dances well." Tian, in the guise of a guard, was not satisfied with this and secretly competed in her heart, wondering what was wrong with the master's gaze. "This ordinary makeup, I could dance better than her with my eyes closed." Seeing that he was not averse, the monarch took the opportunity to play matchmaker, saying casually, "I cannot hide it from your excellency, this dancing girl is none other than the princess of Chang'an. I want to marry her off to your excellency. Would your excellency agree?" The princess cooperated by showing a shy demeanor. Yi Kong did not respond immediately but calmly took a sip of water before smirking and deliberately saying, "I have no problem, but the Shiao Peak is quite sparsely populated, wouldn't the princess feel lonely going there?" The monarch seemed deaf, thinking he was joking, laughing and flattering. "Lord Envoy, you are too polite. Who doesn't know that among the 5 peaks of the Xinghe sect, Heavenly Sword Peak is the most crowded? How can you say it is sparsely populated? He didn't bother with him, rolled his eyes and smirked. I'm talking about Shiao Peak, not Heavenly Sword Peak. Only then did the monarch realize his mistake, his face going blank. This news hit the monarch like a bolt from the blue, causing him to throw all royal etiquette aside and shout, Shiao Peak. That's the peak where the master peak is only at the refined chi stage, even the disciples aren't there, are they? Despite hearing those disdainful words, he remained calm and said, this is not true. I am at the refined chi stage, which is correct, but I have also taken on a disciple, though temporarily, it is just one. The princess no longer pretended to be a demure lady and rushed forward, crying and demanding to cancel, Father, I don't want to marry him. Everyone knows it is better to be a little Taoist at the foot of the mountain than to enter Shiao Peak of the Xinghe sect, Father. He slapped his forehead and stiffly said, I have a limited alcohol tolerance. What I said to the envoy earlier was all while I was drunk. Envoy, please do not take it to heart. Yi Kong did not pay attention to their change of heart, smiling lightly as he stood up and said, words spoken in a drunken state cannot be considered true. It's just that I have eaten well, the sovereign can arrange for someone to guide me, right? The sovereign did not dare to lose his temper with him and turned to glare at the chancellor, coldly saying, I will arrange it immediately. He was furious, blaming the chancellor, and growled, Chancellor, you go see the envoy off. The chancellor, nearly scared to death, immediately said, I obey your command. Tian looked at this scene with dissatisfaction, pursing her lips and thinking, the Dayan kingdom deserves to be punished for insulting my master like this. Once I restore my cultivation, I will destroy the Dayan kingdom to avenge my master. In ancient times, the world filled with spiritual energy gave birth to several powerful mythical beasts. They possessed the ability to move mountains and seas, to destroy the heavens and the earth, standing proudly at the pinnacle of the world. However, with the rise of the human clan, these ancient mythical beasts were hunted to near extinction. Those that remain to this day are either exceptionally powerful or possess strange abilities for self-preservation. At this moment, on a river in the Jiangnan region of the Dayan kingdom, a flood dragon was raising its head and looking around. The goofy flood dragon narrated, I am the 9-headed flood dragon, my secret to survival is pretending to be weak. That's right, I look like an ordinary flood dragon because I am hiding the other 8 heads under the water. One timid head said, as long as we don't reveal our identity, the supreme beings of the human clan won't have the time to hunt a normal flood dragon. And those lacking strength will only become our food when they arrive. Another head chuckled in agreement. The head above water seemed a bit bored and mumbled, honestly, I haven't had a cultivator to eat for quite some time. People here should invite a cultivator to deal with me. I just wonder if they will send someone of golden elixir stage or nascent soul stage. At that moment, Yi Kong had arrived at the lakeshore. He used his hands to create a screen for better viewing and exclaimed, so that's the flood dragon causing trouble. Yi Kong turned to the people of the Yen kingdom and said, sounds quite arrogant. This time, consider yourselves lucky to have invited me. If it were someone else, they would probably just end up as its delicious meal. The chancellor's mouth twitched, echoing, it is a blessing for our nation that the esteemed lord has come here. In his heart, he secretly cursed, oh my old back, ouch. A useless master peak who doesn't even know how to fly and yet asks me to ride in a carriage with him. Yi Kong waved his hand, smiling, and said, all right, prepare a boat for me. I will go deal with this hiding flood dragon. The chancellor, without being polite, pointed to the plain wooden boat and respectfully asked, Lord Envoy, the boat is ready. But are you sure that just bringing a wooden sword can kill this fierce dragon? Seeing the doubt in his eyes, Yi Kong pretended to draw his sword, raising an eyebrow in dissatisfaction. What? Do you have an opinion about my sword? The chancellor, noticing this, became fearful and hurriedly clarified, I don't dare. It's just that the scales of that flood dragon are extremely tough, impervious to blades and spears. Lord Envoy, if you use a wooden sword, don't even think about hurting it, let alone killing it. Why not switch to a real sword? Seeing his sincere concern, Yi Kong let him off the hook and looked toward the lake, confidently stating, "With the power of my sword technique, using it allows me to control the range of my attack. If I switch to a real sword, it would be disastrous." Escape from disaster. The Chancellor quietly wiped the sweat from his forehead and asked, "What will happen?" Yi Kong looked at him, confidently replied, "This body of water will likely be split in two by me. At that moment, you will have to worry about water control. Don't say this to outsiders. Even a disciple who usually covers up flaws like Tion finds it hard to endure and feels embarrassed for him. Master, if you only boast in front of me, that's one thing, but why do you come and brag in front of outsiders? You might not feel embarrassed, but I certainly do." Shortly after, she remembered some of the puzzling things she had seen, which helped her calm down, but Master often had some strange magic weapons in hand. Nevertheless, Tion remained very worried, always ready for anything. Perhaps he really is confident in dealing with this flood dragon. Anyway, let's just observe for now. If Master can't handle it, we can intervene later. A little while later, the nine-headed dragon sensed the disturbance in the water's surface and glanced over. It was overjoyed to see him and not only welcomed him but also asked with interest, "Indeed, there is a cultivator caught in my trap. Let's see if this person is at the golden elixir stage or the nascent soul stage." Cultivators at different realms emit spiritual energy of different colors, with deeper colors indicating higher cultivation. The spiritual energy surrounding Yi Kong was grayish-white, characteristic of a refined chi stage cultivator. Sensing Yi Kong's cultivation, even a ferocious beast like the nine-headed serpent feels sympathetic. Refined chi stage, thus, the boat smoothly approached it. He introduced himself, "I am Yi Kong, master of Shiao Peak of Xinghe Sect, tasked by the Yen Kingdom to come here and eliminate you. If you have any final words, you may speak them now." Being looked down upon by a human at the refined chi stage, the nine-headed serpent immediately flew into a rage, shouting, "Are you out of your mind? Just a refined chi stage cultivator dares to eliminate me. Do you know what I am?" Yi Kong remained unfazed, adjusting his tousled hair, and replied calmly, "Of course, you're the nine-headed serpent, an ancient mythical beast." It was stunned, frozen in fear. The nine-headed serpent no longer underestimated him, broke out in a cold sweat, and stammered, "Why you, what are you saying? I only have one head, how can I be the nine-headed serpent?" Yi Kong glanced down at the water, his expression serious and somber, and said, "You are hiding the other 8 heads under the water, disguising yourself as an ordinary flood dragon. Over the years, the cultivators you have killed must have been numerous, right?" Seeing its true identity exposed, the nine-headed serpent no longer cared about pretense. Chuckling, it arrogantly exclaimed, "I didn't expect a refined chi cultivator to have such insight. You will only be like those cultivators without manpower, just food for me." As soon as he finished speaking, Yi Kong sighed, "What a pity." The nine-headed serpent heard this and stupidly asked, "What are you regretting?" Yi Kong burst into laughter and arrogantly declared, "I initially planned to eat a roasted flood dragon leg, but since you have eaten human flesh, the meat is no longer edible. Of course, it's a pity." This statement directly infuriated it, blood rushing to its head, face grimacing. The nine-headed serpent, with no thought, roared and wanted to attack. A useless person at the chi refinement stage dares to speak such arrogant words. "I'll swallow you whole in one bite." Yi Kong firmly held his wooden sword, smiling confidently, condensing spiritual energy. Seeing the sword filled with powerful spiritual energy, the nine-headed serpent hesitated, fearing to attack. Looking at the arrogant human in front of it, it suddenly felt panic, speculating, "What's happening? Why do I feel fear toward a chi refinement cultivator? Could it be that he, like me, has hidden his true power?" At this moment, his entire body was enveloped in a thick layer of spiritual energy. The nine-headed serpent was stunned. So much spiritual energy, it can't possibly be the chi refinement stage. Next, he simply waved his wooden sword lightly, and a few strong and sharp streams of spiritual energy shot out. Star River Reincarnation Sword, Celestial Extremity. Not long after, those streams of spiritual energy spiraled towards the nine-headed serpent, looking incredibly powerful. The Prime Minister, who had not held much faith, felt a glimmer of hope upon seeing this and excitedly shouted, "This sword move is extraordinarily powerful. Could it be that everything that useless Master Peak person said earlier is true?" The sword move crashed into the nine-headed serpent like a storm. The area it occupied transformed into a furious pillar of water like a whirlwind. However, when the move ended, the nine-headed serpent still stood there, looking unscathed and even more ferocious than usual. At that moment, the Chancellor began to panic and pull his hair, groaning internally, "Damn it, the result still didn't cut off a single scale. Now the evil serpent is enraged, he's definitely going to die." Although he was deemed a useless person, dying here, but before he could finish thinking, Tion burst out from where the guards stood. Alone with her sword, she headed toward the nine-headed serpent, angrily shouting, "Evil monsters, with me Lin Tion here, don't even think about touching a single hair of my master." Upon arrival, Tion slashed at its body several times, further enraging it, causing it to roar. But those strikes did not have any effect, only managing to tear a bit of the outer layer of skin. Seeing this situation, she couldn't help but feel more tense. The defense of this flood dragon is too high, ordinary sword chi cannot kill it. It seems I have to use that move. Tion raised the sword high, and a gigantic red sword shadow appeared at the tip of the sword, looking truly majestic. Then, the angry disciple prepared to strike forward, shouting, "Evil monsters, go die." She unleashed the powerful technique, Emperor Shadow Heavenly Illusion Slash, against the Hydra with nearly full force, causing the Hydra, despite its strength, to fall into the water, defeated. Lin Tion, dazed after that move, thought, finally dead. Now the master is safe. As she collapsed, Yi Kong happened to catch her. Lin Tion looked at him affectionately and called, "Master." But Yi Kong admonished her, saying, "Disciple, look, you just used one strike and you're already exhausted. You need to train harder and take fewer baths in the future." Hearing this, she was shocked into silence, then pushed Yi Kong away, fiercely retorting, "Just one strike. Master, my sword is the sacred level swordmanship, Emperor Shadow Heavenly Illusion Slash, which can be executed using Cultivation Foundation Establishment. In the whole world, only I, Lin Tion, can do this." Yi Kong didn't regard that sacred level technique highly and replied, "Disciple, there's no need to boast in front of me. That move of yours was clearly very ordinary." Lin Tion grew increasingly furious and asked, "Ordinary? Then what was your swordmanship fish slaying just now?" Yi Kong planted his sword down and proudly said, "What is swordsmanship fishing? I use the reincarnation swordsmanship, which can slice the stars above and shatter the heavens and earth below. It's very powerful." Lin Tion grimaced and said, "Master, please have a correct understanding of your refined chi strength. If I hadn't gone this time, you would have been eaten by that flood dragon. In short, don't run around anymore. Do you know how dangerous the outside world is? Can't you let me worry less?" Yi Kong looked at the system and said, "Host has completed the special mission and received the item clue, the Foundation Establishment Great Tao Compass. The Great Tao Compass requires the host to fish out from the sea of suffering." He happily thought, "The Great Tao Compass. With this, I can find a way to establish my foundation." He raised his sword excitedly and said, "Let's go. Back to Shiao Peak." Lin Tion asked, "Are we going back right away? It was really hard to come down the mountain, and there's no need to rush back like that. It's very safe with me by your side, Master." "Master, I'm talking to you, are you listening?" Scene shifts to Shiao Peak. Xiao He sat watching the ants and sighed, "I'm really jealous of you all, you have something to do every day. With the master and Tion's sister not here, I don't know what to do anymore." She suddenly remembered and said, "That's right, we can still sleep." She lay down right there, maybe when I wake up, the master and Tion's sister will be back already." Qin Wuyi looked at her through the telescope and scolded, "Sleeping during the day already. This spirit beast in human form really resembles its master." He let it go and added, "After we capture it, we must definitely correct this laziness." Qin Shou clasped his hands and said, "Master, I know where that spirit beast in human form sleeps, I will lead you there right away." Qin Wuyi commanded, "Go." The two flew to Shiao Peak. Qin Shou pointed and said, "Master, look over there, that's the forest." Qin Wui huffed and said, "It's been a long time since I've been to Shiao Peak." While focusing on flying, Qin Shou crashed into a barrier, his face contorted, and then angrily banged his hands against it. Qin Wui frowned and said, "It seems Yi Kong is not without precautions." Before leaving Shiao Peak, he activated the peak guarding formation to protect the spirit beast in human form. Qin Shou excitedly asked, "Master, does that mean our effort is in vain? If I had known, I would have gone to the Yen Kingdom to eliminate the monsters instead." Qin Wui raised his hand in front of him, grinning wickedly and said, "What are you rushing for? The peak guarding formation is indeed powerful, but it comes at the cost of resource depletion." He waved his hand with strong spiritual energy and shouted, "Break it for me." Unexpectedly, it still had no effect on the barrier he thought was weak. His disciple glanced over and asked, "Master, your attack seems to have no effect." He broke into a sweat and coughed, saying, "It must be that Shiao Peak still has some reserves to maintain this formation." Then he gathered his strength and boasted, "But as long as I unleash my true abilities, this protective formation won't be able to withstand it." Qin Shou nodded in agreement, "So that's it. I knew the peak guarding formation of Shiao Peak definitely couldn't stop the master." Qin Wui unleashed an attack called the Celestial Canopy Northern Dipper Palm. The result was only a few wisps of white smoke, making Qin Shou doubt his master's strength once again. Qin Wui spoke up again, asking, "What are you rushing for? The Celestial Canopy Northern Dipper Palm has a total of 81 moves. I don't believe the peak guarding formation of Shiao Peak can withstand them all." He gritted his teeth again, gathering his energy, and then furiously struck the formation with a flurry of palm strikes. After a while, he was trembling, panting, and shouted, "Attack!" Then he glared. Qin Shou forced a smile and said, "Master, it seems that the resources of Shiao Peak are more than we thought. Perhaps we should try a different approach." Qin Wui wiped the sweat from his brow and replied awkwardly, "You are not wrong. Since we can't come down from the sky, we will go up from the ground." Qin Shou asked, "From the ground?" Immediately, the two of them each took a shovel and started digging a hole. Qin Shou inquired, "Master, don't you have any magic weapon that can dig a tunnel? With just the two of us wielding shovels, who knows how long it will take?" Qin Wui angrily said, "If I had such a magic weapon, why would I be here digging a hole with you? Instead of complaining, let's dig more earth." Qin Shou looked over, raised his voice, and pointed at something stuck in the ground, asking, "What is this? It can't be a treasure, can it?" Qin Wui turned to him and asked, "What are you doing?" Qin Shou replied, "Master, I found a treasure." Upon seeing it, Qin Wui's eyes widened, and he quickly grabbed his shoulder, exclaiming, "Stop, don't pull it out, this is..." But Qin Shou had already pulled it out and said, "Master, I've already taken it out. What do you think this treasure is?" Qin Wui's face contorted in fear as he cursed, "You fool. This is not a treasure at all, this is the demon-suppressing spike used to seal the old ancestor of the demon sect. Have you caused a great disaster?" Qin Shou asked seriously. "Old ancestor demonic cultivator, is this person very powerful?" Qin Wui involuntarily trembled and recounted. "It's not just powerful, 20 years ago, he shocked Lianyun province. He is the #1 expert recognized by both the righteous and evil paths. Back then, the previous master of the Xinghe sect had to gather the forces of the righteous path throughout the world to finally defeat him. But they couldn't kill him, they could only seal him beneath the Xinghe sect. Because of this, the previous master used 5 demon-suppressing spikes to pin down the 5 peaks of Xinghe. They borrowed the spiritual mind of the 5 peaks to suppress the old ancestor demonic cultivator." He pointed to the demon-suppressing spike in his hand and said, "And the spike in your hand is the demon-suppressing spike that the previous master pinned into Shiao Peak." Qin Shou turned pale, stammering, "Master, I will pin the demon-suppressing spike back immediately." Unexpectedly, a surge of demon energy burst forth, causing Qin Wui to clutch his head in fear and say, "It's too late, without the spiritual mine of power from Shiao Peak, the seal from years ago will not be able to contain the old ancestor demonic cultivator. Once he escapes, he will surely take revenge on the Xinghe sect." Qin Shou turned to him, tears and snot streaming down his face, and asked, "Master, What should we do? But Qin Wuyi had already flown into the air and shouted, "Run! If we stay here, aren't we just going to die together with Shenghe Sect?" Qin Shou gaped and yelled, "Master, wait for me." That streak of demon energy kept shooting higher and higher, shrouding the entire Shiao Peak in pitch-black darkness. The disciples of Shiao Peak looked up in confusion. It's only late afternoon, so why is the sky already dark? Could it be that another prodigy has appeared in our Shenghe Sect and triggered a heavenly phenomenon? Lin Tion also looked up, his expression filled with alarm. This aura is... The two stared at the swirling darkness above, like a spatial vortex, where an old ancestor of the demonic cultivators gradually emerged, radiating overwhelming power. He spoke coldly, "Mice of the Shenghe Sect, your old ancestor has broken free. Prepare to die." Lin Tion's face turned ashen the moment he recognized the figure. It's the demonic cultivator old ancestor. Didn't the previous sect master seal him forever beneath the grounds of Shenghe Sect using the 5 demon-suppressing spikes? How did he escape? He turned and said, "Grand Elder, quickly evacuate the disciples. I will face him." But the old man responded, "Sect master, I will go with you." Lin Tion gripped the Grand Elder's shoulder, his voice grave. "No. This is the greatest crisis we've faced since the founding of Shenghe Sect. We must leave a backup plan. If we fail, it will be up to you, Grand Elder, to rebuild the Shenghe Sect." The Grand Elder clasped his hands and replied resolutely, "Master, rest assured, I will not let you down." On Yikong's side, Lin Tion followed behind, grumbling, "Master, why are we in such a hurry to return? I actually think your cultivation is still stuck at the refined chi stage due to a lack of real-world experience. Who knows, if we stay outside a little longer, you might be able to reach foundation establishment." Yikong looked in one direction, making her think, has the master changed his mind? But he said, "There's trouble." So she immediately placed her hand in front of her sword in defense. To her surprise, it was a disciple from Shiao Peak rushing towards them, crying in fear. Lin Tion grabbed one of them and asked, "What are you running from? Are there demon beasts chasing you?" The trembling disciple replied, No, it's not demon beasts." He pointed to the other side and continued, "It's an old ancestor demonic cultivator coming to take revenge on the Shenghe Sect. If we don't run, we won't be alive." Lin Tion's expression changed as she asked, "Who is this old ancestor demonic cultivator?" As she finished speaking, an immense force swept through, causing the path ahead to collapse. Lin Tion looked up at the two figures engaged in battle, filled with astonishment, thinking. Demon energy is too heavy. This old ancestor demonic cultivator is at least in the venerable realm, and Master Shenghe Sect is definitely not a match. The old ancestor demonic cultivator unleashed a wave of dangerous power, which Lin Tion countered with his aura. The cultivation levels in the mortal realm are divided into refined chi, foundation establishment, golden elixir, divinity, venerable one, emperor one, and emperor realm, totaling 7 realms. Even Yikong had to struggle to withstand the pressure created by the old ancestor demonic cultivator. Lin Tion had to shield herself in front, turning her head to call out, "Master, it seems that the Shenghe Sect cannot escape this calamity. We must leave here, I will protect you." Unexpectedly, the area behind her was completely empty, and she panicked, calling out loudly, "Master, where have you gone?" Yikong had already stood high above, looking down at the two, the old ancestor and Lin Tion, fighting while pondering, "Surely I won't be discovered here, right?" The old ancestor frantically unleashed a dangerous move, laughing maniacally and saying, "This master of the Shenghe Sect truly is a generation worse than the last. Years ago, Yi Wuji at least dared to fight me a few rounds, but Lin Tion, you don't even dare to take one of my moves. Besides running away, what else do you know how to do?" Lin Tion struggled to evade the attacks of the elder, then landed facing him. The elder arrogantly asked, "Why aren't you running anymore? It seems you have decided to make this your resting place." Lin Tion lowered his head and asked in a deep voice. "Elder, who cultivates the dark arts, do you know why my Shenghe Sect is named Shenghe?" He raised his head with a fierce spirit and continued. "It is because many years ago, the founding master of our sect gazed at the starry sky and attained enlightenment here. Having learned the power of the universe, our Xinghe sect was named after that. The elder bared his teeth and said, I have no interest in the history of your Xinghe sect. After today, there will be no more Xinghe sect in the heavens. Lin Tion gritted his teeth in anger, raised his hand high, condensed spiritual energy, and suddenly struck at the elder. I brought you here because the previous masters of the Xinghe sect could borrow the power of the universe at this place. He extended his hand forward, unleashing a fierce force, shouting loudly. Go die. This technique was so powerful that it pierced through the elder's body, creating a large hole. He looked on in horror and exclaimed. How can I, the elder, be defeated? Lin Tion was confident of victory, smiled arrogantly, and thought to himself. I have won. But the old ancestor only let out an even slyer laugh as demonic power surged from him. How could someone like me possibly lose to a useless person like you? With a burst of demonic energy, the gaping hole in his chest quickly regenerated. Lin Tion's face darkened, sweat beading on his forehead. He stared in disbelief. How is this possible? Even cosmic power can't harm him. The old ancestor sneered smugly. Ignorant brat. Did you really think that borrowing cosmic power would be enough to defeat me? The truth is, the one standing before you isn't even my true body, but merely a clone. Lin Tion's eyes widened further. What? Just a clone. The old ancestor didn't hesitate to enlighten him. My true body is still trapped within the seal, but the seal is already damaged. He threw his head back and laughed wildly, demonic energy erupting around him. Cock ha ha ha. Before long, my true body will break free. And when that time comes, not just Xinghe sect, every sect that besieged me back then. I won't let a single one of them escape. I will wipe them all out. Lin Tion's pupils turned bloodshot, his fists clenching so tightly they trembled. He thought in terror, if this old thief's true body escapes, the righteous immortal sects of Lianyun province will surely face a great calamity. Even if I must die, I have to stop him. He raised both hands and gathered his power. Still praying, ancestral spirits of the Xinghe sect, please grant me more cosmic power to eliminate this scoundrel. The old ancestor arrogantly spread his arms in disdain. I will stand still and watch what your ancestral spirits of the Xinghe sect can do for a useless person like you. Yi Kong, on the other hand, unleashed a bit of spiritual energy, calmly looking down. Eliminating the old ancestor demonic cultivator is not difficult. I just fear that after taking action in front of the master, I won't be able to relax. It would be better to take this opportunity to let the master handle it directly. After saying this, he unleashed a powerful strike, accompanied by a wave of oppression. Lin Tion froze, looking up. Could this force be the ancestors truly manifesting to transmit power to me? He looked down at his body, which had swelled like a balloon, panicking and shouting, ah ah ah. Then he quickly unleashed that strike, shouting loudly, Old ancestor, please stop transmitting, my body can't take it anymore, I can't handle it. After shouting, that strike tore through the air, hitting the old ancestor demonic cultivator. At that moment, he was still in panic, raising both hands to block with his demonic power, saying, damn it, this can't be happening. As he said, I don't believe it, the massive strike hit, causing the old ancestor to disintegrate into smoke. Lin Tion was also so shocked that he froze, unable to believe, did I do this? I only used one strike to kill the old ancestor demonic cultivator. Inside the formation that trapped the old ancestor, he growled in anger, knowing that my clone has been destroyed. The old ancestor truly underestimated the Xinghe sect. He looked up at the broken spiritual energy seal and said with a sinister smile, but this seal won't hold for much longer. Once the old ancestor leaves this place, I will definitely wipe out the Xinghe sect without leaving a single one alive. The old man struck out with a powerful demon energy against the seal. On Yi Kong's side, he was holding his head in fear and cursing, damn it. Then, in a fit of rage, he looked around and shouted, who the hell dug such a huge hole on Shiao Peak? Aren't you afraid someone will fall in? He picked up the demon-suppressing spike and said irritably, they even dug up the demon-suppressing spike. I told you, how could that old monster's clone get out? This mess has to be cleaned up by me, the master of Shiao Peak. Yi Kong looked around, his eyes landing on a large tree, inspecting it, just the right size, that's it. After 77-49 sword strikes, he managed to create an enormous demon-suppressing spike. Yi Kong held it in his hand, looking at the demon energy escaping from the hole, and the spiritual energy also emerged, saying, "Patch this up for me." As the demon energy surged, the barrier was at its weakest. The old ancestor burst out laughing, delighted, "After 20 years, I'm free." At that moment, Yi Kong struck the demon-suppressing spike down into the pit. The demon-suppressing spike absorbed the magical energy emitted by the old ancestor, leaving him stunned. The immense power struck down, causing the old ancestor to scream in agony. After a while, he finally broke into a sweat and said, "Damn, it's locked." He was trapped under the stone, flustered, shouting, What is happening? What is this?" The next day, the sky was clear and the air fresh. Yi Kong leisurely fished, prompting Lin Tion to assess, hurrying back just to fish. The master really lacks ambition. No wonder Shiao Peak is looked down upon by the other four factions. But unexpectedly, the master of Shinghe Sect was able to defeat the old ancestor demonic cultivator. Perhaps Shinghe Sect can truly rise from a third-rate sect to a prestigious sect. She turned decisively and said, "Let's go train, I need to become stronger to uphold the dignity of Master Shiao Peak." Yi Kong over here yanked the fishing rod hard, joyfully exclaiming, "I've got a bite." In his hand was something that surprised him, asking, "What is this?" "Great Tao Compass." The cultivation of the host has reached the limits of this world. To establish a foundation, 5 special physical disciples must be gathered. Yi Kong's eyes widened, so that's it. Lin Tion indeed has a special constitution belonging to the fire path. That means I only need to recruit 4 more people, but where should I go to find them? As he pondered, a boy with white hair appeared on the Great Tao Compass. Yi Kong raised his eyebrows, staring intently. The next disciple is a beggar, Bai Wu Chen, the current demon emperor and the master of the upper world. Cultivating the extreme bliss demon canon is recognized as the ultimate secret of demonic cultivators. It is rumored that achieving perfection in this skill will allow one to shatter the void and coexist with heaven and earth. However, with the emergence of a new queen of the divine race, the peace that lasted for 10,000 years between the two races, gods and demons, has finally come to an end. The divine race has launched a war to exterminate the evil clan. In this great war of gods and demons, the undefeated demon emperor Bai Wuchen ultimately fell. To escape from his dire situation, Bai Wuchen used the secret technique of reincarnation, sacrificing his physical body to allow his divine consciousness to escape. By the will of heaven, this divine consciousness entered the body of a beggar in the lower world. Thus, the undefeated demon emperor was reborn. He scratched his head and cursed at his own appearance. Shinghe Town is located at the foot of the Shinghe Sect mountain. Thanks to its geographical advantage, this place has attracted many cultivators to set up stalls for exchanging cultivation resources. Bai Wuchen glared at the group of ordinary people on the other side, gritting his teeth. I never expected that this reincarnation would turn me into a child of the lower world, with my cultivation dropping to the foundation establishment stage. The tavern owner saw him and chased him away as if he were a pest. What beggar is this? Go beg elsewhere. This made Bai Wuchen even angrier, releasing demon energy. Do you know who I am to dare speak to me like that? The tavern owner still looked down on him, waving his hand dismissively. Get lost. I'm not interested in hearing a beggar's nonsense. If you don't leave, don't blame me for being rude. Bai Wu Chen's pupils glowed red, what a contemptuous dog's eye. Just then, a few people were discussing. Have you heard? The great demon leader, the old ancestor demonic cultivator who caused chaos 20 years ago, is actually not dead but sealed in the Shinghe Sect. Bai Wu Chen, upon hearing this, turned to the group gossiping. Why hasn't the Shinghe Sect killed this demon leader? If that demon leader escapes, wouldn't the world fall into chaos? Don't say that. It's true that the demon leader escaped recently, but the master of the Shinghe Sect sealed him back with a single strike. Wow, that's impressive. Wait for the next time the Shinghe Sect recruits disciples. No matter what, I must go register. Bai Wu Chen, upon hearing this, was even more furious and looked down on him. What kind of old ancestor demonic cultivator is that? He was sealed by someone with a single palm strike. It's truly embarrassing for demonic cultivators. I think it should be called the disgrace of demonic cultivators instead. He suddenly thought of a plan, that's right. I can enter the Xinghe sect and swallow this old ancestor demonic cultivator, I'm sure I will recover a significant amount of cultivation. At that time, I will take over the Xinghe sect as a base to counterattack the upper world. His eyes emitted demon energy as he sneered, "Mo na. One day, I will make you kneel before me." Turning back to the old ancestor demonic cultivator, who was still trapped under the demon-suppressing spike with a confused expression. He looked at the dense demon energy above and was astonished, "Who is this? The veins of demon energy are even stronger than my old ancestors." The old man wickedly laughed and sighed, "O Xinghe sect, how could you provoke such a great demon and not face destruction? I bet it's a sea of blood up there right now." The great Tao compass kept beeping incessantly, making Yi Kong, who was fishing, feel annoyed. Holding it in his hand, he said, "Why is this compass also a damn alarm clock? Wait for me to rest a few more days before I go recruit disciples." "Stop complaining, the fish have all been scared away by you." At this moment, a powerful shock wave reverberated, causing the surface of the lake to tremble uneasily. Yi Kong looked at the lake and then turned his head to realize, this is the thunderstorm 9 heavens formation I set up to prevent anyone from coming to Shiao Peak and digging holes from being triggered. In an instant, he jumped up and arrogantly said, "I want to see who dares to come to Shiao Peak and dig holes without eyes." At that moment, Bai Wuchen was being scorched by the thunderstorm 9 heavens formation. Yi Kong exclaimed in shock, "Why is it a child?" But at that moment, the great Tao compass beeped again and pointed at him. Yi Kong shifted from anxiousness to squinting and staring intently. Then he laughed proudly, chuckling, "What did I say? Taking a disciple cannot be rushed. Isn't this just coming to the door to pay respects to the master?" Bai Wuchen sank into a dream, turning around and asking, "Where is this?" An old woman on the bridge sighed. Bai Wuchen looked over at her as she waved her hand saying, "You should go home, go home." Bai Wuchen, frightened like a puffed-up cat, yelled for his grandmother and then woke up from the dream. Looking beside him, Yi Kong was agreeing, "You came up the mountain alone, you must want to join Xinghe sect, so I will take you as my disciple." Bai Wuchen jumped out of bed, irritated, and said, "Who is your disciple? Who are you? Where is this place?" Yi Kong stood there, arms crossed proudly, saying, "No wonder he is my disciple, he was struck by the 9 heavens thunder and only fainted for a day. This body is truly resilient." He smiled and introduced himself. "My name is Yi Kong, the master peak of Shiao Peak of Xinghe sect." Bai Wuchen's eyes turned red, and he maliciously thought, "Who are you? I don't care. When I was still rampaging in the upper world, you hadn't even been born yet." He suddenly paused, remembering. Wait, he just said he is the master peak of Shiao Peak. If he is the master peak, he must know where the old ancestor demonic cultivator is sealed. I'll just wait until I capture him and extract his soul to find out. Bai Wuchen's hand emitted demonic power, making Yi Kong confused. At that moment, Lin Tion walked in and shouted, "Master, did you take my bathing tub?" Bai Wuchen shot her a look filled with demonic power. Lin Tion was also stunned for a few seconds, thinking in confusion. Why is there a child in the master's room? Could it be the master's illegitimate child? Bai Wuchen was also taken aback, surprised. What is the background of this girl that makes me feel pressure? Xiao He called from behind Lin Tion. Master, master. I have filled the barrel with water already. Bai Wuchen looked at her, once again astonished. Spirit beasts transforming into Demon King level. Moreover, from the demon energy emanating from her body, it won't be long before she advances to Demon King. Yi Kong pointed to Bai Wuchen and introduced, "Let me introduce you, this is the new disciple of the master." Lin Tion thought blankly, what a relief, so she is a disciple. Bai Wuchen quickly changed his attitude and knelt down, respectfully saluting, "Disciple pays respect to the master." He thought, with these two women here, I can't act against this person. For now, I will acknowledge him as my master, and later find an opportunity. Yi Kong nodded and said, "Get up." He then asked him, "Oh, what is your name?" Bai Wuchen scratched his face, I am an orphan without a name." He thought, how can I tell you my name? If people find out that I, the heir of the imperial family, acknowledge a chi refining cultivator from the lower world as my master, how can I show my face again? Yi Kong turned around and named him, then from now on, I will call you Xiao Bai. Now Xiao Peak has Xiao He, and adding another Xiao Bai, black and white can work together without tiring. Xiao He joyfully said, Xiao Bai. Meanwhile, the person in question was so angry he was shaking. Yi Kong called out, Xiao He, you take Xiao Bai to take a bath. His whole body is filthy, it even smells. Hearing that, Xiao Bai's face flushed bright red in shock. Xiao He, on the other hand, cheerfully replied, yes, master. Lin Tion asked, Master, do you really intend to take this child as your disciple? Even though he's trying to hide it, I can sense a faint trace of demon energy in him. Aren't you afraid people will accuse you of colluding with a demonic cultivator? Yi Kong's expression turned even more sly as he glanced over. Xiao Bai indeed has demon energy, but Master has his own ways of dealing with it. Don't worry. Inside the bath, Xiao Bai fumed, I am the dignified demon emperor, yet they call me Xiao Bai. When this emperor no longer needs them one day, I'll slap him into the afterlife. Suddenly, Yi Kong pushed the door open with one hand. Xiao Bai jolted, curling up in panic. Crap. Did he hear what I just said? He stammered, trembling slightly, Master. Yi Kong leaned in close, asking warmly, Disciple, is your bath comfortable? Xiao Bai's face went pale. Huh? What does he mean by that? But he answered, it's comfortable. Hearing that, Yi Kong scooped more water over him and said, if it's comfortable, then soak a little longer. I've added primordial cleansing water to the bath, it can purify the impurities in your body. He turned around casually and added, take your time soaking. Master will be on his way. Xiao Bai didn't dare to move, thinking to himself, this person only talks nonsense. The primordial true water is water from the time of chaos before the division, extremely rare, and he even claims it can be used for bathing to purify my body. Is he trying to fool a child? He sneered and thought, if it really is the primordial true water, then my demon energy. Xiao Bai's expression changed for a few seconds, then he noticed something and looked at his hand, saying, why has my demon energy disappeared? There must be something wrong, I need to try again. But after several attempts, with his hands propped against the bathtub, Xiao Bai was shocked, his face and body frozen in disbelief, realizing, not only has my demon energy vanished, but even the demon core in my body has disappeared. He shouted in anger, I've become a refined chi stage. That damned master has ruined my cultivation, I will not let you go unpunished. Yi Kong heard the shouting and chuckled, walking away leisurely. The next day, Lin Tion was in disbelief, saying, Master, what exactly did you do to Xiao Bai? I really can't sense any demon energy from him anymore, but how did he end up like this? At Hua Lin Island, she called out, Xiao Bai junior brother, Master told me to teach you the profound sovereign technique, which is the sect guarding treasure of our Shiao Peak. The total is divided into 9 levels. Each time you break through a level, the spiritual energy in your body will double. Xiao Bai crossed his arms and pouted, thinking, what a joke, doubling spiritual energy. How can an ordinary lower world have such a powerful skill? Lin Tion continued, the profound sovereign technique emphasizes the transformation of Xian Huang, leading the spiritual energy of heaven and earth to circulate through the changes of the universe. You should watch closely. Xiao Bai glanced at Lin Tion, who had summoned the power of the dragon and phoenix, displaying an incredibly strong presence. Xiao Bai was surprised and thought, dragon and phoenix as a protective barrier. How can a cultivator from the lower world like her have a dragon and phoenix protective barrier? Lin Tion sternly corrected him, when your senior sister is teaching, do not be distracted. Xiao Bai replied a bit fearfully, yes, I understand, senior sister. He thought again, with such sharp eyes and a strong aura, this must be imperial might. Senior sister has the talent of a great emperor. After a moment, Lin Tion finished her move and sighed, saying, the profound sovereign technique has been imparted to you, from now on, you must practice more on your own. She looked at Xiao Bai and said, oh, by the way, senior sister has a favor to ask of you. I wonder if you would be willing. Xiao Bai's gaze suddenly sharpened as he considered, senior sister has the talent of a great emperor, being friendly with her is a good idea. After I counterattack the upper world, I can invite her to assist me. This favor has been sold. He winked firmly and asked, what did senior sister say? With our relationship, it doesn't matter if it's one thing or 10 things. After a while, a curse from Shiao Bai could be heard from above. He was furiously washing dishes while cursing, damn it. Lin Tion actually dares to make the demon emperor like me wash dishes for you. Once I restore my cultivation, I will definitely make you my maid. Damn it. On the side of Mo Luo Palace, Palace Master Su Bu Bai, the direct disciple of old ancestor demonic cultivator, asked, is the news from Xing He Sect true? Is the old ancestor still alive? A subordinate reported, Palace Master, the situation is confirmed. Many disciples of Xing He Sect have witnessed the old ancestor's appearance, but Master Xing He Sect sealed the old ancestor back with a slap. Su Bubai snorted and shouted, nonsense, the old ancestor was already an expert realm emperor 20 years ago, how could a temporary master like Luo Yang Tian have such great abilities? This must be the old ancestor's scheme. The subordinate added, there is one more thing I haven't reported to the master. When I investigated at Xing He Sect, I discovered extremely pure demon energy from a child. Su Bubai stared in disbelief, how could a child possess pure demon energy? He suddenly opened his eyes wide and said, I understand now, this must be the old ancestor reincarnated as a child. Where is that child now? The subordinate replied, that child has been discovered and taken away by Master Peak Xiao Yao of the Xing He Sect. Su Bubai excitedly said, then what are we waiting for? Send my orders to Telening Guard to break into Xiao Yao Peak at all costs to rescue the soul fragment of the old ancestor. After a period of cultivation, Xiao Bai felt that the true qi in his body and Dan Tian had both increased. Senior sister was indeed not wrong. After practicing the profound sovereign technique, it really can increase the spiritual energy in the body. I have only reached the 6th level, and my spiritual energy has already increased 6-fold. His eyes glowed red, and he maliciously said, with the profound sovereign technique assisting the cultivation of the extreme bliss demonic classic, it will surely yield great results. Who knows, I might even reach the great perfection realm that I have never achieved before. He clenched his fists and boasted, at that time, let's see who in the world can be my opponent, who would dare to say no to me. At this moment, someone approached, and Xiao Bai glanced over and asked, who? It was the Grand Elder looking down at him, praising, at such a young age, you have already reached the 7th level of qi refinement, you truly are a genius in cultivating immortals. If we have met today, it proves that we are fated. I will take you as my disciple and grant you a chance at opportunities. Hearing this, Xiao Bai bared his teeth in frustration, thinking, this old man has poor eyesight, I am a demon cultivator, not cultivating immortals. Before he could agree, the Grand Elder turned and called, disciple, follow me. Xiao Bai struggled against the pressure created by the Grand Elder, shouting, stinking master, who wants to bow to you as a master? Let go of me. He panicked and yelled, where are the people? Someone is kidnapping children. At that moment, Xiao He landed in front of the Grand Elder, shouting, who dares? Let Xiao Bai go. The Grand Elder frowned and disdainfully said, I heard that Xiao Yao Peak has a newly transformed spirit beast, it must be you. I am the Grand Elder of the Xing He Sect, do you dare to stop me? Xiao Bai behind him was frantically yelling, Xiao He, deal with him. Xiao He spoke coldly and seriously, I don't care who you are, you cannot take Xiao Bai away. The Grand Elder firmly and loudly declared, I must take him away, do you dare to attack me? But unexpectedly, Xiao He unleashed a fierce blow directly at him, causing the Grand Elder to stumble backward without having time to react. Both of them seized the old man and began to interrogate him. Do you still dare to take Xiao Bai away? Xiao Bai tightly held on to the Grand Elder's beard, equally fierce in encouragement. Xiao He, go for it, pull out this old man's beard completely. The Grand Elder, battered and bruised, shouted, stop pulling, or my beard will be completely torn out. Unable to endure any longer, he yelled, Yi Kong, come here quickly. When the Grand Elder called out Yi Kong again, he finally responded with a long yawn, I'm coming, I'm coming. What brings you to Xiao Yao Peak today? Upon seeing both Xiao Bai and Xiao He beating the Grand Elder to a pulp, Yi Kong's eyes nearly popped out as he shouted, damn it. Xiao He, Xiao Bai, stop it right now. Grand Elder, these kids don't understand, please don't hold it against them. Both Xiao He and Xiao Bai knelt down. The Grand Elder adjusted his jaw, which was nearly broken, and angrily asked, if they don't understand, do you not understand either? Are you teaching them to treat elders in the sect like this? If you had come even a little later, my beard would have been completely pulled out by now. Yi Kong, with a blank expression, accepted the elder's reprimand and replied, you're right, Grand Elder. I will definitely punish them severely. He turned to the two and sternly declared, I punish you both with 1 day of confinement. Go back to your rooms and don't go anywhere. Both of them ran off and replied, yes. Yi Kong turned back and smiled knowingly, saying, Grand Elder, as you can see, I have punished them seriously. Can we just let this matter end here? The Grand Elder adjusted his robes, suppressing his anger as he asked firmly, you call this a serious punishment? Very well, I am the Grand Elder of the Xinghe sect, how could I stoop to arguing with two juniors? Yi Kong raised both thumbs high in admiration, no wonder you are the Grand Elder, even I must concede a bit to you. So, Grand Elder, please take care on your way, I won't see you off. The Grand Elder replied grumpily, fine, then I shall leave first. As he was leaving, he turned around and remembered why he had come. I can't leave just yet, I came to Xiao Peak to discuss something with you. Yi Kong looked at him silently. The Grand Elder turned back, concerned, and said, recently, there have been appearances of people from the demon sect near our sect. The master instructed me to convey that the 5 peaks must remain vigilant to prevent a surprise attack from the demon sect. I'm not too worried about the other peaks, but I'm not at ease with your Xiao Peak. However, you shouldn't worry too much. Shiao Peak has stated they are ready to support Xiao Peak in preparing against the demon sect. Yi Kong looked over in disbelief and said, is Shiao Peak really that kind-hearted? The Grand Elder seemed a bit embarrassed, clearing his throat a few times before saying, after all, they have contributed people and effort, so I will agree to a small request of theirs on your behalf. Yi Kong expressed confusion. To go back a bit, Qin Shou was calling out from the side, disciple of Shiao Peak, keep digging, it's still not deep enough. He crossed his arms and arrogantly stated, this manure pit must be big and deep. A small hole won't hold enough manure from the spirit beasts of our Shiao Peak. The disciples looked up at him and asked, Peak Heir, if the demon sect attacks Xiao Peak, should we help? Qin Shou replied with a wicked smile, help. Of course, we will help collect the corpses for Xiao Peak. Returning to the present, the smell of animal dung filled the air. Yi Kong, pinching his nose, still looked pale as if he were going to be sick, grumbling, the Grand Elder is being foolish again, agreeing to let Shiao Peak build a manure pit at the foot of Xiao Peak. Unable to endure the nausea any longer, he stomped his feet in frustration. No way, I have to find them to discuss this matter. That night, many shadows hid behind several large trees to ambush. Aning, guarding Mo Luo Palace, cautiously said to the others below, the incarnation of the old ancestor is inside, everyone be careful, don't let them be discovered. A member of Mo Luo Palace, underestimating the enemy, said, I've heard for a long time that the master of Xiao Peak is just a useless person refining qi, we don't need to be so careful. The Aning guard glanced at him and said, that's right, you have to be careful in other places, but there's no need to worry about Xiao Peak. He spoke and boldly stepped forward, commanding, brothers, follow me to welcome the old ancestor. Xiao Bai, who was sleeping nearby, mumbled and laughed wildly, saying, Master, senior sister, you must definitely make you both my attendants, the female servants of this emperor. Hee hee. Hearing this, the Aning guard raised his hand and said, that's right, the old ancestor's avatar is in this room. Suddenly, Lin Tion opened the door and shouted, what's going on? Why does Xiao Peak smell so foul? Upon seeing the 3 Aning guards staring at her in shock, she cautiously asked, who are you? How dare you break into Xiao Peak at night? Aning guard kicked off the ground and flew towards her, intending to kill her to silence her, saying, I didn't want to kill anyone tonight, but since you saw us, you can only die. Lin Tion summoned her sword and then parried one of Aning guard's sword chi. He widened his eyes in surprise, thinking, a person with foundation establishment realm can withstand an attack from a strong Yuaning like me, I can't let this woman live, or she will surely become a great enemy of our demon sect in the future. The remaining members of the demon sect surrounded Lin Tion. She looked left and right, on guard, thinking, demon sect, they must have come to ambush the master. She bit her hand, resolutely thinking, Master, today, even if I have to risk my life, I will drive them out of Shiao Peak. Her eyes emitted a wild spiritual energy, revealing a mighty phoenix. Burn my phoenix blood, summon the soul of my past life. Lin Tion suddenly froze, staring at her hand. She was so scared and in disbelief, saying, What's happening? Why has my sword turned into a chicken leg? The inning guard saw this and laughed with the demon sect as if it were harvest season. A chicken leg? It's a chicken leg, ha ha ha. She burned her blood essence and ended up with a chicken leg. Ha ha ha, I get it. She wants to make us laugh to death. Lin Tion was furious, immediately raising her chicken leg, equally powerful. With shining eyes, she declared, This empress has long cultivated to the realm where even grass and trees become swords. You all get out of Shiao Peak. The inning guard also raised his hand to gather energy and struck back, blocking Lin Tion's ultimate killing blow. He scoffed disdainfully, At Shiao Peak, there isn't even a weapon with a soul, you are truly seeking death. Lin Tion was even more aggressive, exerting more force and saying, If you want to fight, then let's fight. Why talk so much? Before I die, I will definitely drive you out of Shiao Peak. Lin Tion clenched her fists once more, exchanging blood essence to summon her strength. She thought, it must be that the blood essence absorbed is too little, so I can't unleash my full power, I need to let it absorb more. I am the only one on Shiao Peak, I cannot retreat. Lin Tion's power grew increasingly formidable, reaching towards an guard. But at the moment he stood still, several members of the demon sect pressed their hands against his back, transmitting spiritual energy to help him resist Lin Tion. Let us assist the commander. An guard adjusted himself, pushing his strength forward, saying, Brothers, hold on tight, as long as we can withstand this wave of attacks, we can exhaust her. The powerful demonic energy, though small, still struggled against the raging force of Lin Tion. She gritted her teeth, trying to endure, thinking, why is this happening? Is the blood still not enough? An guard laughed heartily, boasting, Little young lady, you truly are a good seed for demonic cultivation. You are merely at the foundation establishment stage yet can withstand even our guard. It's a pity to be here, you might as well come with me, the old ancestor will definitely cultivate you well. As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Tion unleashed a violent strike, pushing all three guard members back. She too was exhausted, collapsing, indeed, only blood from a severed artery can. Master, I fear that today our fateful bond has come to an end, your disciple wishes to take his leave first. On this side, Yi Kong seemed to sense something and stood there in a daze. He turned his head and sighed inwardly, why is my foolish disciple so anxious? It's just a bunch of little rats, handing them over to the master is enough. Turning back, Lin Tion had already fainted. The guard sat up and cursed, damn it, this woman is truly insane. But fortunately, we are all at the expert realm of golden elixir. He ordered, go, don't waste any more time, hurry and fetch the old ancestor. Unbeknownst to them, Yi Kong had landed on the roof. He raised his hand in a seal, performed a small technique, and swept through all of them. Like a sword chi, it resembled a sharp thread that pierced through them all. The guard, before dying, struggled to turn his head and asked, what is happening? As he fell, Yi Kong also landed. He held Lin Tion with concern and scolded, foolish disciple, with the master here, even if the king of hell himself came, he wouldn't be able to take you away. He used spiritual energy, pricked the tip of his finger, and let his blood drop onto Lin Tion's forehead. She immediately opened her eyes and woke up. Lin Tion groggily opened her eyes, and when she realized she was being held in someone's arms. She was startled, am I not dead? Of course you are not dead. Yi Kong nodded and smiled in confirmation, with a master protecting you, who could possibly kill you? Hearing this, the corners of Lin Tion's mouth twitched uncontrollably, you protect me? If I hadn't burned my blood essence to defeat the demon sect disciple, you, a mere refined chi stage practitioner, would have been killed long ago. Suddenly, she felt a change within her body, wait, why is my cultivation increasing? As Lin Tion focused to sense deeper, she realized something. I understand now, it must be the powerful fate of this emperor, unparalleled talent. Burning blood essence not only has no negative effects but also breaks through the realm. This is the legendary, no destruction, no establishment. The teacher was stunned, and he gently rubbed her head. What are you thinking? Master's arm is getting sore. She immediately panicked. Let me handle these people. But Yi Kong refused. No need, just leave them to the master. You should go back and rest. Lin Tion also did not insist anymore and specially instructed. I will only knock them out, not kill them. You need to be a bit more careful, things have not been very stable lately. Don't run around at night, okay? This tone made him a bit taken aback. Got it, why are you even quoting Master's lines? She glanced at him, secretly thinking. If this Shiao Peak doesn't have me, it will be done for sooner or later. A little while later, the group of people in black was quickly dealt with. Yi Kong put his hands on his hips, glanced at those people, and muttered. Daring to bully my disciple, I will drown you in the sea of suffering for the fish to eat. That Xiao He and Xiao Bai are sleeping like the dead. Suddenly, he smelled a stench so foul that he had to cover his nose. This rotten smell again, I told them to cover the lid, but no one listened. Yi Kong was so angry that he ground his teeth. If it's like this, don't blame me for making you taste it. Buckets of dirty liquid poured out in torrents. The servants were trying to suppress their disgust and continue with their assigned tasks. Meanwhile, Qin Shou pinched his nose and stood to one side, observing. Yi Kong uncle, after all, Shiao Peak has so little land, it would be a shame not to use it for manure. Looking down from above, he continued to order them, go get a few more barrels, and remember not to cover them so the smell can escape. Everyone obediently complied. Yes, peak air. Yi Kong stood on a rock and observed everything, his face dark with anger. Qin Marshal nephew, do you really want to make your uncle feel disgusted? Then I will play along to see who can be more disgusting. Quickly, half an hour passed, and Qin Shou was in disbelief at the scene before him. He angrily pointed at the pit that had been filled in. Who is the immoral one that covered the manure pit? Hurry up and uncover it for me. But no matter how hard Shiao Peak's people tried, they could not budge it. The peak air can't open it. Qin Shou shouted angrily. This small task and you can't do it? Step aside for me. He decided to roll up his sleeves to do it himself, but hesitated at the very first second. Glancing at the servants who were secretly laughing at him, Qin Shou felt angry inside. I am strong Yuan, the talent great emperor, how could I not open this? So he puffed his cheeks and widened his eyes, using all his strength to lift the board. Unexpectedly, a loud explosion suddenly rang out, and the servants hurriedly fled. Alone, Qin Shou bore the brunt of all the filthy liquid splattering all over him. Tears began to well up in his eyes, and goosebumps rose on his skin. Unable to contain his disgust, Qin Shou immediately vomited everything in his stomach. At this moment, the servants hurriedly reported, Peak air, there is someone inside. Hearing this, he was extremely furious. What? Daring to hide in a cesspool to attack me, I will definitely kill him. Seeing several men in black lying unconscious in the pile of filth, they shouted, Demon Sect. Qin Shou quickly pointed down into the pit and commanded. Quickly catch them, we must summon the master. So the group immediately started to act in the night. That morning, the peach blossoms fluttered past the wooden plaque on the beam of the Xinghe Hall. A large crowd had gathered in front of the hall. Chen Chunyang frowned and spoke, Master, may I ask why we have summoned Master Peak Wu Feng and our disciples so early this morning? Yi Kong, standing beside him, yawned, yeah, is there something that can't wait a little longer? I'm still not fully awake. Luo Yang Tian's serious expression announced, last night, someone from the demon sect infiltrated our Xinghe sect, but fortunately, they were captured by our disciples. Today, we have gathered everyone to discuss this matter together. Hearing this, Lin Tion, standing behind him, secretly smiled, so the master has handed those people over to the sect, now I can't even pretend to be modest anymore. Due to the importance of the matter, he immediately clapped his hands to signal the start. Next, the subordinates carried in the stretcher with the assassins from last night. A pungent smell suddenly wafted up, causing her to immediately gasp and hold her breath. What is that smell? Why is it so foul? Chen Changqing also hurriedly covered his nose. Did these demon sect members fall into a pit of dung? It stinks too much. At this moment, Qin Shou stepped forward to explain the situation. Chen brother is not wrong, these demon sect members were caught by me while stealing dung. Upon hearing this, the corners of his mouth immediately drooped as if he had just heard a joke. You mean the demon sect sneaked into our Shanghe sect to steal dung? Are you serious? He even spoke grandly about the events of the night before. Of course, I fought with these demon sect members for 3,000 rounds, making the sun and moon dim before I caught them in the dung pit. The disciples in my peak can testify to this. The others immediately echoed in agreement. That's right, we saw it with our own eyes. This time, it was Qin Wuyi's turn to quickly clasp his hands and offer his opinion. Master, Peak Heir Qin Shou from my peak captured the demon sect and achieved a great feat, so he should be rewarded to encourage our sect's disciples to resist the demon sect. Luo Yang Tian did not refuse. Politely asking him, Qin Master Peak makes a valid point. Qin Shou, do you want any special rewards? Whether it's a skill secret manual or miraculous pills, as long as our Shanghe sect has it, this master will definitely not hesitate to grant it. Qin Shou did not hesitate for a second and immediately pointed at Yikong and Lin Tion. Master, I want the spirit beasts of Xiao Peak to transform. Her words made her extremely angry, and she retorted loudly, shameless. Xiao He is the spirit beast protecting our Xiao Peak. What right do you have to take it? Unexpectedly, he shamelessly pointed directly at the group lying on the stretcher, emitting a foul smell, just based on the fact that I captured these demon sects while they were protecting Xiao Peak. Without me, they would have long since climbed Xiao Peak and killed all of you. Everyone, do you think this reward is excessive? Several servants of Xiao Peak also rushed to defend their master. The Peak Heir is absolutely right. Xiao Peak should hand over the spirit beasts to us, one must know how to repay kindness. Xiao Peak should at least understand this principle, right? That's right, we can't let Xiao Peak's efforts go in vain, can we? Amid the chaos, a voice boomed, shut your filthy mouth, descendant of 18 generations of your ancestors. The man immediately scanned for the figure, who dares to disrespect the disciples of Xiao Peak with such language. Xiao Bai, chewing on food, looked proud and said, I said it. So what? Is it allowed for the disciples of Xiao Peak to have their mouths full of shit, but not for others to speak? Qin Wuyi was extremely angry and immediately complained to Luo Yang Tian, which sect's disciple is this that dares to disregard the elders? Insulting fellow disciples. Master, according to the rules of Shanghe sect, we should hand this person over to the Luo Enforcement Hall for strict punishment. The Grand Elder of Shanghe sect leaned in to report, Master, he is the new disciple taken in by Master from Xiao Peak, named Xiao Bai. Considering he is still young and ignorant, I ask Master to be lenient. He turned to question the kid Xiao Bai, I ask you, why did you just insult the senior brothers of Xiao Peak? If you cannot present a valid argument, even if you are young, it will be difficult to escape the punishment of Sun Gui. With permission, Xiao Bai immediately jumped over the dining table to the center of the hall. Alright then, just now the people from Xiao Peak said that we from Xiao Peak should be grateful and hand over Xiao He to them. So I must ask, where does this gratitude come from? The servants of Qin Shou immediately retorted, are you blind? These demon sect members were captured by our Peak Heir while guarding Xiao Peak, isn't that a favor? The boy pointed at that group of people and shot back, I think the blind one is you. Those demon sect members on the ground all have Yuan in cultivation. What cultivation does your Peak Heir have to defeat so many strong Yuaning? This time it was his turn to show off, little brother, you don't know me. I, Qin Shou, am indeed a strong Yuaning, recognized by everyone as a talent great emperor. What's so strange about defeating many with few? Unexpectedly, Xiao Bai showed no fear, speaking without holding back, talent great emperor is used to describe my senior sister. The stupid, ugly, deformed thing, smelling like shit all over, dares to call itself the talented great emperor. Truly, it's like a pig's nose stuck with scallions, pretending to be an elephant. Taking the opportunity to add fuel to the fire, Chen Changqing turned to mock Qin Shou, this little junior brother speaks well, but who is he really to not understand himself at all? Humiliated in front of a crowd, he angrily rushed forward, intending to strike. "Little guy, today I must tear your mouth apart." Seeing this, Lin Tion hurriedly rushed up. "Qin Shou, if you dare to hit my junior brother, Lin Tion will not let you off." The situation became chaotic, making Xiao Bai worry. "It's over, my cultivation has dropped to the refined qi stage, I can't even avoid a blow like this, I can only brace myself to withstand it." A figure stepped in front of the boy to block Qin Shou's attack. Su Qinyuan, the flower heir of Manhwa Peak, reminded sternly, "Senior brother Qin, fighting with a child will damage the honor of your peak heir Shiao Peak." He gritted his teeth in anger, his eyes shining with evil energy. "This little guy insulted me first." Lin Tion stepped forward and scolded, "What kind of man is Qin Shou for attacking a child? If you have the guts, fight me instead. It's a life or death situation, we won't stop until one of us is dead." Qin Shou immediately retorted, "If we're going to fight, then let's fight. Are you afraid of Shiao Peak?" Just as another battle was about to break out, Luo Yang Tian shouted at them, "Everyone shut up. Do you want to destroy each other in front of me, the master of the Xinghe sect?" He then separated them, saying, "Qin Shou, go take a shower first. As for the reward for capturing the demon sect, I will supplement it for you later." Qin Shou clasped his hands in agreement, not daring to argue. Qin Shou obeys. Of course, Xiao Bai was also reprimanded by Luo Yang Tian. "Xiao Bai, you have repeatedly used insulting language towards your fellow disciples, and you should have been handed over to the law enforcement hall for punishment. However, considering your young age and that you have not been in the sect for long, I will let your master handle it." Who would have thought the kid wouldn't know humility? "I didn't say anything wrong, why should I be punished?" As soon as he finished speaking, Yi Kong rushed over and playfully tapped Xiao Bai on the head. He smiled at the master. "Master, don't worry, I will definitely teach this little guy well." The kid cried out, "That hurts." Luo Yang Tian turned to discuss with the Grand Elder of the Xinghe sect. "This time, the demon sect's intrusion has sounded the alarm for our Xinghe sect. Grand Elder, you lead the disciples of the law enforcement hall to search the entire Xinghe sect, we must ensure no one escapes." He respectfully replied, "Understood. There's one more important matter to address. As for these demon sect members, leave them to." At this moment, Chen Chunyang unexpectedly stepped forward to volunteer. "Master, just leave these guys to me, I will definitely make them reveal their purpose for invading our Xinghe sect." Seeing this, he waved his hand to signal. "If Chen Master Peak has taken the initiative to volunteer, then this task is entrusted to you." He spoke respectfully. "Yes." Watching the group of elders chatting animatedly, Yi Kong sighed inwardly, "How long is this meeting going to last? I still need to go back to Xiaoyao Peak to fish." Suddenly, he noticed Su Qinyuan approaching him. Yi Kong recalled what had happened earlier and happily asked, "I haven't had the chance to thank the young lady who helped our Xiao Bai. I remember the young lady is the flower heir of Manhwa Peak, right? What was your last name again?" She smiled and proactively introduced herself, "Yi Kong uncle, my last name is Su Qinyuan." He politely complimented her, "Su Qinyuan, what a beautiful name. Moreover, you are as charming as your name, with a graceful and youthful aura. Lu's senior sister really found a good disciple." "Uncle." Hearing this, Su Qinyuan blushed shyly and laughed, "You flatter me too much." Lin Tion, standing beside them, felt frustrated seeing them chatting happily. "What is this? This name is very ordinary. I've never seen anyone praise me like that. Master is foolish, master is foolish, master is foolish." Finally, the gathering of the sects came to an end. Yi Kong happily held the fishing rod, letting out a sigh of relief. Finally done with the meeting, now I can fish in peace. This demeanor made her unable to hold back her judgment. "Master, spending so much time fishing, don't you think it's a waste of time?" His eyes lit up. "You don't understand, a master who doesn't fish is the real waste of time." Lin Tion became flustered. This time the master assigned tasks to the other 4 peaks, and we at Xiaoyao Peak have nothing to do at all. Don't you feel embarrassed? But he just pouted and replied nonchalantly, "Embarrassed? Why should I? Not having to worry about trivial tasks allows me to focus on fishing, which proves that the master understands me." Unable to take it anymore, she secretly made a decision. The master is so obsessed with fishing that it's overdone, words are useless, only strong measures can work. Night quickly fell, and the moonlight illuminated the quiet space. A shadow stealthily approached Yi Kong's fishing spot. The familiar fishing rod was gripped tightly by a hand. Lin Tion's face clearly showed a sense of triumph. Without a fishing rod, how can anyone catch fish? From now on, master should focus on cultivation. The next morning, as usual, he stretched and yawned loudly. Yi Kong, following his routine, walked to the cliff where he usually fished. Another beautiful day. First, I'll fish to complete today's daily task. He reached out to grab his fishing rod, but the spot next to him was empty. At that moment, Yi Kong suddenly realized he had lost something. Where is my fishing rod? Who took my fishing rod? Smoke was billowing from the chimney of the house. Xiao Bai was quickly throwing firewood into the roaring fire. The dog master dares to punish me by making me cook for a month. I am a demon emperor, yet he treats me like a mere chef. The boy's face showed a mischievous expression as he grinned widely. Why not just put laxatives in this pot of rice, so the dog master can see the consequences of messing with me? Suddenly, his gaze caught sight of something unusual. Xiao Bai picked up Yi Kong's bamboo fishing pole out of curiosity. Isn't this dog master's fishing rod? Who put it in the firewood pile? It was almost burned as firewood. The boy sat in front of the fire, fiddling with it. Dog master loves fishing so much, he must be very anxious about the lost rod. Maybe we should just burn it. At that moment, he suddenly appeared behind them, his expression terrifying. Xiao Bai, you are quite bold to dare to steal master's rod. You are forcing master to take action now. Xiao Bai looked like he had seen a ghost, glancing nervously at Yi Kong, speechless. A moment later, the boy was tied to a chair face down, shouting in despair, Master, I am wronged. That fishing rod was already in the firewood pile before I came to the room in the morning. Someone must be trying to frame me. Little did he know, Yi Kong gave him a few swats with a feather duster on his backside. Still daring to lie, I heard you preparing to burn the fishing rod, who else could it be if not you? Seeing Xiao Bai scream as if being poked, Lin Tion quickly intervened. Master, Xiao Bai is still young and doesn't understand things, please let him go this time. But he maintained a serious expression and did not stop. If a child is not taught, it is the father's fault, if the teaching is not strict, it is the master's fault. If I do not correct his stubbornness today, how can I set an example for others? Although she felt somewhat guilty, she did not dare to admit her actions. Master is really petty, clearly, he is venting his anger for the stolen fishing rod, yet he speaks with such a dignified air. I apologize, junior brother, this time you have to bear the punishment for me. But being whipped by the master is not necessarily a bad thing. Perhaps you can take this opportunity to comprehend the meaning of the great Tao like I did. In the end, Lin Tion had to let Xiao Bai endure Yi Kong's beatings. She slightly opened her eyes to glance at their situation. He was clearly not holding back, feathers and garlic skins were flying everywhere, mixed with the boy's tears. Master. Clearly, Xiao Bai was being beaten, and Lin Tion blushed, feeling embarrassed as she looked down at her own body. Wondering, why is my body itching? Do I really want to be whipped by the master? Night quickly arrived, marking the end of a punishment. Yi Kong sat down in a chair and sighed wearily. Being a master is not easy. Not only do I have to find ways to enhance their cultivation, but I also have to worry about their character. It's truly pitiful for the hearts of those who are masters in the world. Suddenly, a voice came from outside the door, Master, you're not asleep, right? Can I come in? He picked up a cup of tea and replied, come in. With permission granted, the door opened by itself. To his surprise, the visitor was Lin Tion. Master, I've come to apologize. Yi Kong was a bit confused, apologize? Finally, she mustered the courage to confess honestly, actually, today I hid the master's fishing rod in the wood room. Xiao Bai junior brother is innocent. Hearing this, he was extremely astonished, so it was you. Why did you take the master's little fishing rod? It hasn't done anything to offend you. Lin Tion explained the reason, I see the master spending all day immersed in fishing without focusing on cultivation, so he has to resort to this inferior method. It must be because he had beaten Xiao Bai during the day that Yi Kong was still upset. Master's fishing is indeed a form of cultivation. You still don't understand the master. But considering that you dare to admit your mistake, the master will forgive you. Go back and rest. Surprisingly, she took the initiative to express regret. Tion doesn't seek forgiveness, but I ask the master to hit me one more time. This attitude left him very surprised. I didn't expect your attitude of admitting your mistake to be so sincere. Since it's like this. Lin Tion blushed, exhaling warm breath. Master can refrain from hitting my palms. Immediately after, she proposed a small yet shocking condition, but can you hit my butt instead? Yi Kong stared in disbelief. You dare to make this request to the master, there's no reason to refuse. He didn't miss a moment, immediately reaching for the colorful feather duster. Lie down on your stomach neatly, tonight, the master will definitely give you a good beating. When Yi Kong turned back, he saw Lin Tion lying face down on the bed, lifting her clothes in preparation. Master, I'm ready, go ahead. Yi Kong's eyes sparkled, and his arm began to swing. At the same time, over by Xiao Bai, the boy also struck the ground with great force. Xiao Bai's expression was about to reveal a mischievous trick. I finally crafted the heavenly soul-devouring canine pearl. Although my cultivation has dropped to the refined qi stage, I haven't forgotten how to refine qi. The boy tossed the black pill in his hand, planning, once the heavenly soul-devouring canine pearl breaks, it will release a mist. Anyone who inhales this mist will lose their reason and see themselves as a dog. Dog master, just wait and enjoy the filial piety of your disciple. After that, Xiao Bai stealthily walked past Yi Kong's hall. As he approached the window, he suddenly heard a strange noise and couldn't help but wonder, what is the dog master doing in the room? Why is there a sound like this? The next moment, Xiao Bai clearly heard the voices of him and Lin Tion inside. Disciple, why don't we stop here for today? Master, I can still endure it, let's continue. She whined, demanding, use more strength, master. The boy was stunned as if he had just discovered a shocking secret, they have a relationship like that. Senior sister, you have the talent of a great emperor, why are you with a useless person like master? Senior sister, you're too foolish. Suddenly, Xiao Bai realized something important, where is my soul-devouring pearl? The boy looked down and saw the shattered black pearl on the ground, it's gone. In the room, Yi Kong was straining himself, accompanied by Lin Tion's moans. Master, go harder. At this moment, he also noticed the commotion outside and shouted loudly, where did that stray dog come from? Catch it, and we'll make braised meat tomorrow. She continued to whine, Master, don't stop, keep going. Yi Kong wiped the sweat from his face, staring intently at the firm buttocks in front of him. Alright, let's catch the dog tomorrow. Today, the master will definitely whip you until you are satisfied. At the same time, in Xinghe town, Yi Kong was walking while enjoying the atmosphere of the place. The Manhwa festival is the most important festival in our area. Every year, the Xinghe sect must send people to assist in organizing the event. Lin Tion was very pleased to hear this. I wondered why the master had the free time to take us down the mountain today, it turns out we are going to the festival. Meanwhile, Xiao Bai immediately turned to mock. The Xinghe sect is a sect of immortal cultivation, yet they help the people organize a festival, that's really too idle. Hearing this, he turned to explain. The Manhwa festival is mainly to commemorate the Baihua fairy, who is the Tao companion of the founding master of our Xinghe sect, which is why the successive sect leaders of Xinghe value it highly. Upon hearing this, her eyes lit up like car headlights. The Manhwa festival has such a history, master, please tell us more about it. Yi Kong saw that she was interested and agreed. Alright. According to legend, after establishing the Xinghe sect, the founder was challenged by the Baihua fairy. Their cultivation levels were equivalent, and after several battles, it was hard to determine a winner. Lin Tion was increasingly intrigued, saying, I see now. In her mind, 7,749 romantic scenarios flashed before her eyes. The two seniors, through their battles, became acquainted without fighting, even developing a mutual understanding. To commemorate their love story, everyone organized the Manhwa festival in their honor. However, she was quickly interrupted by him. No, it was because their fights were so intense that they often spread to the surroundings. The Baihua fairy, who cherished flowers as life itself, had the townspeople plant flower beds and greenery around her house to prevent destruction. This story made people think of a fierce battle in the sky. Not stopping there, he continued, later, the Manhwa festival gradually became an important celebration for the residents of Xinghe town to bid farewell to the rain deity and pray for favorable weather in the coming year. At that moment, Lin Tion was taken aback by the absurdity of the story. Oh, so that's it. Just as a few people were talking, a sweet female voice rang out from afar, "Yi Kong uncle." Wu Qingyuan had spotted them from a distance and approached to ask, "Lin junior sister, Xiao Bai junior brother, are you also here to enjoy the Manhwa festival?" Seeing her walking alone, Yi Kong invited her to join them. "Su young lady, what a coincidence, I see you're alone, why don't you come along with us?" Xiao Bai, noticing a girl, chimed in, right, what's the fun in being alone? Come with us. However, the two were unaware that Lin Tion was about to get jealous, her eyes turning red. "There are many senior sisters at Manhwa Peak, we don't need to worry about that." Nevertheless, Su Qingyuan intended to decline as she was busy. "Sorry uncle, this year's Manhwa festival is organized by our Manhwa Peak. Master asked me to find scholars to participate, I'm afraid I won't have time to stroll around with everyone." Upon hearing this, Lin Tion was visibly pleased. "Then you should quickly go find the scholars, don't delay important matters." That's right. At that moment, a thought suddenly appeared in Yi Kong's mind. I can take this opportunity to repay the kindness that Su young lady extended to me last time. Thus, he immediately expressed his desire to help. I know someone who is proficient in poetry and everything else. If he participates in this competition, it will certainly add a lot of brilliance to it. Su Qingyuan was very pleased to hear this. "Yi, uncle, please tell me where this scholar is, and I will go invite him right away." However, the thick-skinned Yi Kong self-satisfiedly pointed to himself. "No need to invite anyone, he is right in front of you." Lin Qing and Xiao Bai couldn't help but burst out laughing at this display of self-love. Yet, just a moment later, they found themselves in front of a magnificent house. In another room, Lu Ruqin was presiding over the announcement of the rules for the Manhwa competition today. "We at Manhwa Peak are truly fortunate to have invited various scholars to gather here to recite poetry and enjoy this grand event together." As she spoke, she gently stroked the dog in her hands. As the saying goes, beautiful women love scholars, you all must seize this opportunity to create wonderful poetry. Who knows, I might win the heart of some beauty from Manhwa Peak. Peak Master Lu Ruqin of Manhwa Peak said. The people in the room were immediately energized upon hearing about the reward. Someone from Lianyun province remarked, "Everyone says that the beauties of Manhwa Peak are like clouds. Today, even if I have to risk my life, I must compose a great poem to bring a beauty home." Someone from Xinghe town responded, "The #1 scholar of Xinghe town is not just a name without substance. Today, before the poetry competition, I will surely win." He then rebutted, "With the #1 scholar of Lianyun province here, what does the #1 scholar of Xinghe town even count for?" Just as the room was in chaos, someone slammed their hand on the table and shouted, "Wait! Since Lu uncle said this competition invites only scholars, why is there a useless person mixed in here?" Qin Shou stood up abruptly, pointing at Yi Kong while questioning, "Are you saying that's right?" Yi Kong. Lin Tion, seeing him being insulted, couldn't contain his anger. "Qin Shou, are you calling someone a useless person and looking for trouble?" However, it seemed that Yi Kong was unfazed. Qin's nephew made a valid point. If we leave this useless person here to fill the gap, won't it lower the quality of this competition? Therefore, the nephew should quickly return to Shiao Peak to clean up the mess. He realized that if he couldn't provoke his brother, he would get even angrier. "Uncle, don't think that just because you are older, I won't dare to hit you. Today, I must fight you." Fortunately, Lu Ruqin finally stepped in to mediate. Enough. She noticed the tense atmosphere and her face darkened with anger. "This competition is organized by Manhwa Peak. Anyone who dares to fight here is disrespecting us." Qin Shou thought he was being supported and pushed further. "Since Lu uncle has spoken, let's change the fight to a literary contest. I'll come up with a couplet above." Yi Kong uncle, do you dare to come up with one below? But Yi Kong remained calm and asked back, a couplet? What if I can't come up with one? He thought his brother was scared and raised his voice, if you can't come up with one, then get out of Manhwa mansion. Otherwise, I'll leave. Yi Kong was unfazed by the taunt and replied, then you can go ahead and leave. Qin Shou went ahead, intending to put him in a difficult position. My couplet is like rotten wood, hard to carve. Yi, you are wasting your effort and becoming a useless person. The people sitting around witnessing this scene were in an uproar. Oh my, this couplet really insults harshly. After delivering his couplet, he still tried to belittle Yi Kong. I'm just stating the truth. Who doesn't know what kind of person Master Peak Shiao Peak is? In the above couplet, I even intentionally added the surname. I think Master Peak Shiao Peak won't be able to respond to it. Yi Kong uncle, it's your turn to respond to the second line now. Even though he said that, deep down, he was mocking. How can a useless person refining chi who only knows how to fish possibly respond to my couplet? Just wait to be embarrassed. Xiao Bai, feeling a bit uneasy upon hearing that couplet, turned to ask Lin Tion, senior sister, what is Master's literary talent like? Can anyone respond to the above couplet? However, she also seemed quite worried. I don't know, after all, I've never seen Master read a book before. But just after that, Yi Kong delivered a couplet that stunned everyone. Our couplet below is a wall of excrement built by Qin. How can it be plastered over to mask the foul smell? Qin Shou was so directly insulted that he turned bright red with anger. Meanwhile, Su Qin Yuan couldn't help but burst out laughing from the side. Lu Ru Qing, seeing this, turned to glare at her. The others in the room then had a lively discussion. Oh my, it really is a couplet, but the one below is just too smelly, I feel like vomiting. Xing Yi Town, seeing there was fame to be had, immediately jumped in. Actually, I've noticed that this Qin Peak air has a smell of excrement on him. I smell it too. Could he really have used excrement to build the wall? He was furious at the criticism and shouted back, that's nonsense. I've bathed many times, how could I still smell like excrement? However, just a second later, Qin Shou's eyes widened in shock at his own foolish statement. Even though he tried to explain, it was too late. You all misunderstood, I didn't mean that. Taking advantage of the chaotic atmosphere, Lin Tion spoke up, Master, I have matched your upper couplet already. Why haven't you left yet? Qin Shou was furious at being chased away, but since the rules were set by him, he couldn't argue. You. However, at that moment, Chen Changqing stepped in to stop them. Wait, today is the poetry competition, so we must use poetry to determine the winner. Uncle Yi Kong, do you dare to compete with me? Yi Kong accepted, saying, all right then. He looked around for a while and pointed to the flower bush nearby, hoping they could compose poetry on that theme. Today is the Manhwa festival, and we gather here at the Manhwa mansion. I will use flowers as the subject to create a poem for everyone. 100 flowers bloom, leading to countless mountains, competing to showcase their vibrant colors. The snowy path reveals a stolen blue flower, while the roots of the ice burst forth with scattered little red buds. Seeing this, everyone turned pale. The little sword god is indeed well-rounded, and the poetry he created is remarkable. Xing He Town seemed to agree, saying, it appears that the title of champion in today's competition is no longer in doubt. Chen Changqing, seeing this, felt even more self-satisfied but still pretended to be concerned. Yi Kong uncle, it's your turn. Seeing that it was finally his turn, Yi Kong simply replied gently, all right then. I'll join in the fun as well, using flowers as the theme, I'll compose a poem. But since they still didn't know Yi Kong's true ability, Chen Changqing was feeling quite pleased with himself. This idiot actually wants to compose a flower poem. The one I recited earlier was bought at a high price from the poetry immortal of Lianyun province. How could anything he writes possibly surpass a poem written by a poetry immortal? However, the moment Yi Kong announced his title, Chen Changqing froze. This poem is called, Bat de How Puc. Under everyone's bewildered gazes, Yi Kong recited in one smooth breath, leaving them stunned. Wait until autumn arrives on the 9th day. The flowers bloom and fall, hundreds laid to rest. Their fragrant battlefield pierces the silver river above. But it was the final line that truly shook them. Across every mountain, armor of gold unfolds. And Yi Kong didn't just speak empty words, he even had proof. Look outside. At that moment, even Lu Ruqing could no longer remain calm and cried out. Heavens, an omen of heaven and earth. This is a heavenly phenomenon created from an ultimate grade poem. Everyone present rushed outside to gossip about the incident. It turns out that exceptional poetry can truly cause extraordinary phenomena. I thought it was just a legend, but today I've really broadened my horizons. Just now, I thought Little Sword God's poem was quite good, but compared to Yi Master Peak's verses, it's like a world apart. Xiao Bai trembled as he saw the flower, saying, I thought the master was a useless person, but his poetry is surprisingly good. Lin Tion added, it seems that aside from not excelling in cultivation, the master is not bad at everything else. Chen Chongqing was furious after being slapped in the face but only dared to curse silently in his heart. How could this be? I've lost again. At that moment, Yi Kong suddenly spoke up, since the outcome is decided, the two martial nephews should fulfill the bet they made earlier and roll out. Though he felt embarrassed, he still tried to sound tough. Yi Kong uncle, don't get too cocky too soon. For cultivators like us, no matter how good the poetry is, it's just a pastime. Wait until the 5-peak competition, Heavenly Sword Peak will definitely trample Shiao Peak underfoot. Let's see if you can still laugh by then. However, Yi Kong was determined to push him to the end. Wait a minute, Chongqing martial nephew isn't someone who breaks promises, right? Roll out or something. He was even angrier and resolutely retorted, Chen Chongqing, what I say I can do, just watch closely. As promised, Chen Chongqing immediately rolled out. Before he landed, Xinghe Town couldn't help but admire, it turns out you can roll out like this. Seeing this, Qin Shou also stepped onto the railing, I'm coming too. Then he jumped down in front of everyone. However, instead of admiration, everyone's face turned as dark as a pot bottom. It turned out that as soon as he hit the ground, Qin Shou remembered, oh no, I forgot, I am a beast tamer, not as skilled in physical techniques as a swordsman. If I had known, I would have preferred to roll straight out from the ground. Seeing him embarrassed, Chen Chongqing planned to sneak away without acknowledging him, hurry up, don't look anymore. That morning, in the central hall, the sky was clear. Inside the hall, Lu Ruqing subtly mentioned Yi Kong. Yi Kong, junior brother, you are too secretive. With such extraordinary literary talent, why do you never show it? If it weren't for this Manhwa festival, I wouldn't have known that the Xinghe sect has a great scholar like you, junior brother. He smiled politely and replied, senior sister, you flatter me. In fact, my literary talent is just one of my many strengths, it's not worth mentioning at all. Her calm demeanor made her very annoyed, and she glared at Yi Kong, junior brother is indeed very modest. Lu Ruqing then changed the subject to something else, addressing the group of female cultivators behind her. By the way, I remember that junior brother still doesn't have a Tao partner. Would you like senior sister to introduce someone for you? There are quite a few beauties at Manhwa Peak, you know. The girls immediately teased, although Yi Kong uncle's cultivation isn't great, he's still from Master Peak. Moreover, he looks handsome and has good literary talent. If he really chooses me as a Tao partner, I would definitely agree. What are you thinking so beautifully? If Yi Kong uncle were to choose, he would definitely choose Su senior sister, right, senior sister? Su Qingyuan awkwardly snapped, don't joke about senior sister. Seeing her surrounded by other women supporting her, Lin Tion was extremely angry. Fortunately, Yi Kong quickly and skillfully declined, I appreciate senior sister's good intentions, but I'm currently focused on cultivation and haven't thought about matters of men and women. Xiao Bai, hearing this, couldn't help but comment internally, what a thick-skinned person, after doing that to my senior sister, he still dares to say he hasn't thought about men and women. Suddenly, the boy spotted a dog gnawing on a bone, and he couldn't help but drool unconsciously. When he realized what he had just done, Xiao Bai was startled to realize, oh no, the effect of the heavenly soul-devouring canine pearl hasn't completely worn off yet. Rejected in her good intentions, Lu Ruqing frowned but didn't give up, so it turns out junior brother is so engrossed in cultivation that he remains untainted by worldly affairs, I was too forward. I just heard that Heavenly Sword Peak and Shiao Peak are both proposing to the master that after this 5-peak competition, the 5 peaks will be reallocated. She continued to mockingly imply. So if no one speaks up to help, it's hard to say whether Xiao Peak will still exist after the 5-peak competition. Yi Kong calmly responded, "It's okay, I have faith in my 2 disciples. Xiao Peak's performance in this 5-peak competition will definitely not be poor." Suddenly, all 3 of them heard a commotion nearby. Seeing Xiao Bai fiercely competing for a bone with a dog, he couldn't help but choke on his drink. Lin Tion hurried over to pull the boy away, saying, "Xiao Bai, what are you doing? Why are you fighting a dog for a bone? Spit it out now." Seeing this, Lu Ruqing chuckled softly and said one last thing, "Yi junior brother, there's no need to rush to respond. Manhwa Peak is the top peak of the Shanghe Sect. As long as you agree, I will do everything in my power to protect Xiao Peak during the 5-peak competition." The meeting came to an end as the afternoon gradually faded. After she left, Lin Tion angrily questioned and lectured, Xiao Bai, tell me, since you joined the sect, have you ever gone hungry or thirsty? How could you openly fight a dog for a bone? Do you know how embarrassing it is for us at Xiao Peak?" The boy pouted, explaining indignantly, "I didn't want this, it's just that the effect of the heavenly soul-devouring canine pearl hasn't completely worn off. After all, it's because of you and the master playing such stimulating games." Seeing Xiao Bai mumbling, she raised her voice, "What are you mumbling about? Are you thinking that I'm accusing you unfairly?" The boy immediately became obedient, No, senior sister is right, it's all my fault." At this moment, Yi Kong glanced back at them while walking ahead, his mind filled with thoughts. Heavenly Sword Peak and Yusho Peak are planning to use this 5-peak competition to scheme against Xiao Peak. It seems I can't be careless like before, I need to think of ways to help Tion and Xiao Bai enhance their cultivation. Especially Xiao Bai, I also need to help him find something for foundation establishment. Thinking of another possibility, he rubbed his chin and smiled lightly, that's right, the little white tiger in the ancient forbidden area must have grown up by now. Taking a piece of its flesh and bone shouldn't be too much, I'll give it a try tomorrow. At the same time, in a mountainous region, peach blossoms were flying everywhere. A dissatisfied voice rang out, "On the contrary, father, Yi Kong has humiliated me like this." Chen Changqing raised his voice to question his father, "How much longer must we endure?" But Chen Chunyang remained calm, "Stay calm, wait until the 5-peak competition is over." He was impatient and irritated, "But father, even if we win first place in this 5-peak competition, if the sect leader still refuses to abolish Xiao Peak, won't Yi Kong still be his master peak?" He shot his son a meaningful glance, "By then, it will still be hard to say who the master of Shanghe Sect is." Chen Chunyang did not want to discuss this matter any further and waved his hand to signal him to leave. "All right, you can go out now, I need to go into seclusion to cultivate." Chen Changqing obediently replied, "Yes, father." After he left, the space became silent. A dark aura began to rise, enveloping the area. Ci Shibai appeared. He respectfully clasped his hands and bowed his head, "I pay my respects to Su leader." Looking at the current situation, he couldn't help but praise. "Chen Chunyang, you have done very well. Initially, the old ancestor instructed you to stay undercover in Shanghe Sect, but who would have thought that one day you could rise to such a high position as Master Peak of Heavenly Sword Peak?" Chen Chunyang remained serious, not lifting his head, humbly replied. "Su leader, you flatter me too much." Su Bubai didn't waste time and went straight to the point. "Alright, no more unnecessary words. I ask you, have you investigated the location for the 5-peak competition this time for Shanghe Sect?" The corner of his mouth slightly lifted, he spoke slowly. "Reporting to Su leader, the location has been investigated." Chen Chunyang presented a piece of yellow paper with red writing. "The 5-peak competition this time will be held in a minor realm, this is the teleportation talisman for that minor realm." Seeing this item, Su Bubai was very excited and pleased. Very good, very good. When the day of the 5-peak competition arrives, I will arrange for the disciples of the demon sect to ambush first, capturing all the participating disciples of Shanghe Sect. Having so many disciples as hostages like this, Aren't you afraid that Luo Yang Tian won't hand over the old ancestor?" But just as he was about to reach for it, he suddenly retracted his hand. Su Bubai frowned, his expression becoming serious. "Chen Chunyang, what do you mean?" Chen Chunyang grasped the handle, waving the piece of paper in his hand. Su leader, I have one more matter to report to you. That useless person Qin Shou absolutely cannot defeat the inning guard of the leader. I'm afraid there may be someone more formidable targeting Xiao Peak. This information was indeed very important, and he fell silent. So you mean? Has Lin Tion discovered that the old ancestor has turned into a child? He did not deny this possibility, but he also did not fully confirm it. Probably not. I have investigated the matter of the demon sect, and currently no one knows. But last time, the old ancestor's avatar was easily suppressed by Lin Tion, and isn't this palace a bit insignificant compared to Xinghe sect? At this point, Su Bubai understood Chen Chunyang's intentions. No need to look far, Chen Master Peak, help me welcome the old ancestor back. We will definitely let Chen Master Peak take the position of master of the Xinghe sect. By then, the two of us will rule Lianyun province together. How can you say it's not worth it? Seeing the other party also had sincerity, he changed his attitude. Su leader has such ambition, I will definitely do my utmost to help Su leader welcome the old ancestor back. On the bustling streets, the lively chatter of people could be heard. A shopkeeper was enthusiastically inviting guests to his stall. Miss, you look truly beautiful. If you wear a jade bracelet and hairpin, no one would doubt you are a heavenly immortal descending to the mortal realm. Looking at the pile of goods in her hands, Xiao Bai reminded her, Senior sister, these are all mundane items, why buy so much? They're of no use at all. But Lin Tion was enchanted by his sweet words and waved him off. What do children know? Women buy things regardless of whether they are useful or not. Excited, she wanted to get even more. Boss, I'll take this jade bracelet and a hairpin as well. The boy turned to Yikong, speechless. Master, you didn't say anything to senior sister, did you? He indulgently replied, Senior sister, you've made a great effort to come down the mountain, just let her buy whatever she wants. Hearing this, Xiao Bai immediately became furious and complained, it's easy for master to say that, but where's the person to help carry the items? After letting her shop to her heart's content, Yikong instructed the two, alright, you two continue to stroll around. Master will go prepare the food, and we'll meet at the inn later. Lin Tion was surprised. Inn? Master, aren't we going back to Xiao Peak? He explained, I forgot to mention, the Manhwa festival lasts for 7 days, and the 5-peak competition will take place on the last day of the Manhwa festival, right here in Xinghe town. So during this time, we won't be going back, we'll be staying in the town. Her eyes immediately sparkled, so that means I can go shopping during this time. That's great. This made Xiao Bai a bit anxious, and she immediately retorted, no way, we have to shop for 7 more days. A little while later, Yikong came back holding a huge piece of meat. Disciple, look at what master has brought for you all. Lin Tion and the boy immediately looked out the door, eager with anticipation. Xiao Bai gazed hungrily at the delicious-looking piece of meat. Roast meat, it looks so good. He couldn't help but feel pleased, of course it's delicious. This piece of meat took a lot of effort for master to obtain, and it was roasted with spirit flame too. Yikong thought to himself, if I hadn't acted quickly to deal with the little white tiger before it could use the golden elixir to self-destruct, this bone and flesh wouldn't have been preserved. She glanced at him, puzzled yet happy. Actually, if master wanted to eat roasted meat, he could just ask the chef at the inn to make it, why go through so much trouble himself? The boy, however, didn't think much about that and eagerly wanted to taste it. Alright, since master has brought back roasted meat, let's hurry and share it. The three of them sat around the round table. Yikong said, sit down, master will share it with you. On the table, a bowl of water was already prepared. Then, he picked up the knife and sliced a moderate, fairly thin layer of meat. Seeing Yikong shaking and dipping the piece of meat in the bowl of water, Xiao Bai exclaimed, I didn't expect the master to be so meticulous, even washing this bowl again by himself. On the contrary, she thought differently, the master won't be that meticulous, I have a bad feeling. Sure enough, just a moment later, he held up the bowl of red meat juice and presented it to the two, come on, drink the meat broth. The little boy was stunned, speechless. Master really knows how to joke, my stomach is growling, let's quickly divide the meat to eat. But Yikong appeared very serious about this, the master is not joking. You cannot eat this meat, you only need to drink the meat broth. Xiao Bai was dissatisfied, why can't we eat it? It's just grilled meat, Master, do you really have to be so stingy? His expression was tense as he explained the reason. This is not ordinary grilled meat, it is the meat of an extraordinary ferocious beast. Thus, this meat contains a strong aura of slaughter. With your current strength, eating it could be life-threatening. The boy helplessly complained, if you don't want us to eat, that's fine, but why mention some aura of slaughter in the meat? How can someone at the refined cheese stage like you eat it? Lin Tion also leaned in and recounted the story of his master. Master is really stingy when it comes to food. When I first became his disciple, he didn't even give me a piece of chicken, only let me drink soup. But that bowl of soup was truly extraordinary. I don't know what high-grade elixirs master added to it, but after drinking it, my cultivation skyrocketed. Well, anyway, it's the thought that counts from master. Let's just drink this meat broth. Who knows, maybe master added some high-grade elixirs like last time. Hearing this, Xiaobai couldn't help but be surprised. This is called meat broth. It's just a bowl of hot water that has been dipped in a piece of meat. In the end, because he was too hungry, the boy picked up the bowl and gulped it down. Well, let's consider it thirst-quenching. Suddenly, Xiaobai's body froze. Immediately after, a sudden surge of power swept through the boy. Xiaobai unexpectedly fell into a strange barrier. The boy stared blankly at the chaotic battlefield before him, wondering, is this the battlefield that once clashed with the divine clan? How did I end up here? Xiaobai suddenly realized that something had happened. Almost at that moment, everyone present instantly flew up, brutally eliminated. The scene caused Xiaobai to lose control immediately. No, I must kill all of you. Just then, a tiger beast man unexpectedly appeared with an authoritative appearance. Very good, a person with such strong killing intent deserves to receive the support of my true self, the powerful voice echoed, urging the boy. I allow you to use my power. Following that, Xiaobai immediately erupted with strength. The boy transformed, becoming someone else. Seeing this, the soldiers in front rushed forward, wanting to eliminate him. Xiaobai's eyes turned bright red, flashing, all of you will die for me. In the real world at this moment, Lin Tion was trying to wake up Xiaobai. Xiaobai, Xiaobai. Seeing that the boy did not respond, she became worried. Master, what's wrong with Xiaobai? Why isn't he responding at all? Yi Kong calmly explained. Xiaobai is fine, he has just entered the realm of enlightenment. Once he comprehends enough, he will naturally wake up. Hearing this, Lin Tion picked up a bowl of meat soup, feeling a bit confused. Xiaobai entered the realm of enlightenment because of this bowl of meat soup. Why didn't it have any effect on me? Noticing Lin Tion's dissatisfaction, Yi Kong didn't explain much. The white tiger belongs to metal, and the phoenix belongs to fire. Fire restrains metal. The aura of destruction in this meat soup must have been refined by the little phoenix in Tion's body, so it probably has no effect. He smiled to himself, thinking. But Tion has already established her foundation. Plus, considering that I kept her up all night with the whip, with her strength, she should be able to handle the 5-peak competition. Soon it was the morning of the next day. At this moment, Xiaobai had become alert. In a hurry, he shook Yi Kong awake. Master, wake up, wake up. Yi Kong, who was sleeping, was startled awake. Xiaobai, you're awake. What's going on? The young boy excitedly boasted about his achievements. Master, can you believe it? Last night I was just dreaming. This morning when I woke up, my cultivation had reached the 9th level of refined qi. I never expected that the legendary dream realm enlightenment would happen to me. This talent can't be said to be strong, but it can only be described as terrifying. Yi Kong casually tossed Xiaobai a bare bone. Reaching the 9th level of refined qi is good. According to the rules of our Shiao Peak, Master should give you a foundation establishment item, take it. Looking at the item in the boy's hand, Yi Kong couldn't help but be speechless. I thought it would be some foundation establishment item, but isn't this just the bone of the grilled meat we had yesterday? By the way, this isn't a dog bone, is it? After everything was arranged, he opened the door to go outside. Now that I've given you the item, hurry up and focus on your foundation establishment, don't miss this 5-peak competition. Xiaobai had no choice but to agree. Master, rest assured, we will definitely take advantage of the time to establish the foundation as soon as possible. But in his heart, there was clearly a different intention. "Oh master, no matter how anxious you are, I cannot use a dog bone to establish the foundation. Isn't that ruining the potential of the true emperor?" When Yi Kong had completely left, he went to the window and threw the bone outside. "This broken bone, the further away you go, the better for me." The bone shook angrily. "Very well, little guy, just yesterday I received the killing intent from my true self, and today you dare to turn against me. How could I let you go?" This scene left the boy astonished. Taking advantage of Xiao Bai's inattention, it flew up and hit the boy hard on the forehead. At the same time, Lin Tion and Yi Kong were sitting outside at a stall. "Master, why hasn't Xiao Bai come out yet? Could it be that he is still comprehending?" He replied nonchalantly, "No, he is awake. But just now I gave him the foundation establishment material, so he is probably establishing the foundation now." She was taken aback. Foundation establishment. On the rooftop, the majestic tiger beast was sitting there. His eyes sparkled sharply. Yi Kong casually waved his hand, signaling it to go elsewhere. "Go away, go away." Seeing her in a daze staring at him, he explained, "I'm not talking about you, the master is just chasing away a fly." Lin Tion wiped away the tears that hadn't yet fallen, "So it's just chasing a fly." At that moment, the beast also vanished in the blink of an eye. I chased it to Heavenly Sword Peak. At Chen Chunyang's residence, a dark aura was emerging. He gritted his teeth in anger, not understanding, why is there such a strong presence of demon energy on my Heavenly Sword Peak? Could it be that the leader has arranged for someone else to be at Heavenly Sword Peak besides me? Luoyang Tian suddenly appeared, sternly warning, "Chen Master Peak, you better explain to me why there is such demon energy on Heavenly Sword Peak." Chen Chunyang feigned innocence, "Master, I don't know what's happening either." His anger grew even more, the power of the leader radiating out. "You don't know? Alright, let me investigate it for you. The Grand Elder has led the Lu Enforcement Hall to surround Heavenly Sword Peak, we must find out who is practicing demonic arts there." He immediately complied, "Yes." The swift action left Chen Chunyang extremely flustered. What the hell is going on? No one informed me, what should I do now? That night, in another hall, Qin Shou anxiously went to report the situation to Qin Wu-yi. "A major incident has occurred, Master. There is a spy from the demon sect at Heavenly Sword Peak, and now the entire Heavenly Sword Peak has been surrounded, everyone will be investigated." He managed to remain calm. Heavenly Sword Peak is already crowded, so it's not surprising that a few spies from the demon sect have infiltrated. This alone is not enough to threaten the status of Heavenly Sword Peak, unless the spy from the demon sect is Chen Chunyang himself. As soon as these words were spoken, it left him bewildered. "Master, that can't be true, right?" Qin Wu-yi glanced behind him. "So we still have to see how this 5-peak competition unfolds. We must ensure that our Shiao Peak defeats Heavenly Sword Peak and climbs to the top position of the 5 peaks." Qin Shou looked in that direction and was startled a moment later. "Look at the helper that Master has chosen for you." He stammered in fear as he looked at the dangerous fierce beast in the cage. "Master, isn't this the Yuaning Shangyu wolf?" Mentioning his pet, the man's face couldn't hide his smugness. "Exactly, although the Shangyu wolf doesn't have the spiritual intelligence of transformed spirit beasts, its combat power is stronger than the vast majority of spirit beasts." Qin Wu-yi deliberately said, "If you can tame it, why would you be afraid of not defeating Qin Chongqing?" His body instinctively recoiled slightly, his face turning pale. This demon beast really isn't simple. The large Shangyu wolf fixed Qin Shou with its cold, fiery red gaze. Xiao Bai twisted his joints and confidently declared, "Senior sister, even though you have the talent of a great emperor, I am not inferior to you." Lin Tion teased, "Xiao Bai, your wings are quite strong now, aren't they? The newly established foundation dares to challenge the senior sister." Her eyes sparkled with electricity, provocative. "Is this a challenge?" The boy did not hesitate to respond, "When it comes to talent, I am a step above you." Lin Tion immediately drew her sword, ready for a fight. "Stop talking, if you think you are stronger than me, then make your move." Xiao Bai held the spear firmly, proposing a deal. A junior brother who doesn't want to become a senior brother is not a good junior brother. After this duel, senior sister can call me by senior brother. Then, the two of them immediately charged at each other. Watch out for my move. Yi Kong sat on the side, cheering enthusiastically. Go for it, my disciples. This year is the most promising year for Shiao Peak. His expression suddenly changed to a cold one, and doubts arose within him. Why are there fierce beasts in Xinghe town? With so many disciples at the Manhwa festival, senior brother Tan is quite unreliable. Yi Kong sighed and thought to himself, alright, let me go handle this, consider it a late-night meal for my disciples. Just as he sensed, the Shangyu wolf had been released and was rushing towards the location. Its bright red pupils gleamed in the cold night. Upon arrival, the Shangyu wolf turned around sharply and came to a sudden stop. Just then, Yi Kong caught sight of it, so it turns out to be a demon wolf. His energy surged like a tide, and his indifferent demeanor vanished. Catching it for a barbecue is just right, it would also save my disciples from constantly saying they can't bear to eat meat. It seemed that the wolf sensed the hostility from its opponent, its eyes igniting with fury. The Shangyu wolf charged forward at its fastest speed, continuously lunging but was evaded by Yi Kong each time. Yi Kong decided to counterattack, his hand clenched tightly as he summoned power into his fist. Just then, as he threw a punch, his other hand simultaneously restrained that fist. Yi Kong looked at the fist that could not be unleashed and sighed in relief. That's right, this punch cannot be thrown. I almost forgot, the beast can't withstand a single blow from me, if the meat gets smashed, it can't be barbecued. The Shangyu wolf clearly understood that action and words were a humiliation to it. Anger surged again. It jumped up, using both legs to slash diagonally at him. Yi Kong remained unfazed, calmly assessing the previous attack, infinite wolf slash. Then, he leaned to one side and waved his hand, causing Shangyu wolf to receive a full slap, making it stick out its tongue and tear up. That massive body flew a distance away, causing dust and smoke to rise throughout the forest. From a mighty beast, it was now beaten to a pulp, resembling a pitiful guard dog. A moment later, Xiao Bai, tightly bound, with a swollen face and bruises, pleaded, "Senior sister, I was wrong, I was wrong." Lin Tion put her hands on her hips, bent down to tease, "Why aren't you being tough anymore? Didn't you just want to be the grand senior brother?" The boy struggled, begging for mercy, "I don't want to be the grand senior brother anymore. Senior sister, please let me go." Of course, it wasn't that easy. Lin Tion took the opportunity to hit him a few more times. "This is for your arrogance, for wanting to be the grand senior brother." Xiao Bai hung in the tree like a sandbag, crying out. No more, senior sister will always be senior sister." Yi Kong turned back, carrying the Shangyu wolf. "Are you all hungry, disciples? Master is making grilled meat for you to eat tonight." The two of them huddled together, looking cautious. "Master, where did you find this dog? It's not stolen, is it?" He lowered his head and glanced at the beast in his hands, correcting himself, "Do you think I look like someone who steals dogs? Besides, it's not a dog, it's a fierce beast. Woof woof woof." Because of its weak appearance, she sighed in disbelief. "Master, is this really the fierce beast you mentioned? It's clearly a dog." Xiao Bai chimed in, turning its head to analyze, "If we use it for grilled meat, you only give me meat broth to drink. It's better to let it go, everyone has nothing to eat." Turning back to flatter, "Senior sister is right, it's just a dog. Master, let it go, it looks so pitiful." After some back and forth, Yi Kong tossed the Shangyu wolf to the kid. "So annoying, if you've asked for it, then you should take care of it from now on. What are you joking about?" Xiao Bai immediately sprayed glue and silently protested, "I am the demon emperor, why would I take care of a dog for you?" The boy hugged him, watching his brother's back as he tried to persuade him to change his mind. "Huh? You want me to take care of a dog? Master, think again, it's actually okay to eat it too." Yi Kong just waved his hand in response, "From now on, you will call him Ergu, and you must obey your master." Xiao Bai panicked, "Wait, master, I didn't agree to take care of it." The boy looked down at Ergu's pitiful face, with his innocent, sparkling eyes, and finally helplessly accepted. That night, in the forest, Xiao Bai's voice echoed as he shouted, "This stupid dog, don't lick my wounds. It hurts so much, and you still lick. Damn it, this dog. On the seventh day, at the Manhwa festival in Xinghe town, various sects gathered in front of the city, and the festive atmosphere was lively and cheerful. Lin Tion hovered in the air and announced the opening of the festival. Today is the last day of the Manhwa festival. At the same time, it is also the opening day of the 5-peak competition of our Xinghe sect. We hope that the disciples from all peaks will join forces to create a prosperous and vibrant event. Everyone was extremely excited, loudly shouting, yes. At this moment, a group of people appeared. Yi Kong and his 2 disciples, along with Gu, approached leisurely. The others, without restraint, began to gossip. Oh my, there are so few people from Shiao Peak, they even brought a dog just to make up the numbers. This is already a crowd. Last time at the 5-peak competition, Shiao Peak didn't even have a single disciple. This time at the 5-peak competition, I don't know which peak will take first place, but Shiao Peak will definitely come in last. Lin Tion suppressed her anger, her fighting spirit rising. Master, don't worry. With me, Lin Tion, here, I will definitely help Shiao Peak win first place, making you proud. At this moment, Lin Tion cleared his throat, drawing everyone's attention. He raised his hand, and a glowing orb illuminated the area. The 5-peak competition is divided into 3 rounds. The content of the first round is: a bright light appears in the sky like a miniature galaxy. Lin Tion announces the theme: step on the galaxy to find the revelation star. The spectators below can't help but be amazed by this scene. Wow, it's pitch dark, the master of the Xinghe sect is truly extraordinary. He continues with a serious expression: all participants need to step onto this galaxy and light up their own revelation star. Only those who can light up the revelation star are qualified to advance to the next round of the competition. As soon as he finished speaking, the participants immediately jumped up. Xiao Bai, let's go. She turned to remind the boy, in this 5-peak competition, you must perform well. If you dare to hold me back, you know what the consequences will be, right? From a distance, they looked like streaks of light gathering together. Xiao Bai assured her, I will definitely perform well and will not disappoint senior sister. Suddenly, Qin Shou appeared out of nowhere, cutting in between the two and shouted, move aside, move aside. This aggressive appearance made the boy extremely annoyed. This guy from the Qin family must be doing it on purpose, I really want to beat him up right away. Lin Tion shot an angry glance, gritting her teeth, as long as he isn't eliminated, we will meet again. They continued moving towards the starry river. She told herself, when the time comes, I will teach him how to be a person. Alright. Qin Shou, who had a grudge from before, took this opportunity to want to eliminate them. Shiao Peak keeps making me lose face time and again. He secretly stuck 2 talismans on the backs of the 2, today, I will make Shiao Peak lose face thoroughly. The golden paper stuck tightly, and several strange shapes appeared on them. At this moment, some contestants had approached the starry river. I have lit my revelation star. So what if you have lit it? Your revelation star is clearly not as bright as mine. Suddenly, a gigantic, dazzling star appeared, overshadowing all the rest. When it became clear that it was Qin Shou, everyone couldn't help but admire, so it's Qin Shou's revelation star, the peak heir of Shiao Peak. Truly deserving of the title Great Emperor Talent, this revelation star shines brilliantly. Suddenly, someone noticed something, wait, another super bright revelation star has been lit up. He was also influenced by the voice and turned his gaze towards the source of the light. To his surprise, the one who created it was none other than Qin Changqing. Is that? It's little sword god Qin Changqing. Having his glory stolen, he snorted coldly, it's a pity that I let Shang Yu Wolf escape that day, otherwise, in this 5-peak competition, I would definitely win against Qin Changqing. Then, Qin Shou turned back to focus on his own revelation star, muttering, speaking of which, I still don't know where that Shang Yu Wolf finally escaped to. Below, Yi Kong stood calmly with his arms crossed, observing everything. I have been searching for the disciple on Shiao Peak, but I still haven't found him. Suddenly, Qin Wu Yi appeared from behind and called out, Yi junior brother. He chuckled and began to poke fun, neither of your 2 disciples have lit their revelation stars, aren't you going to give them a little guidance? Qin Wuyi's expression was extremely contemptible. Xiao Peak's first round has been completely eliminated. Unexpectedly, he accepted that advice without a care. Senior brother Tan is right, if that's the case. Yi Kong decisively jumped up high. I will go up and give them a little guidance. Seeing this, someone tried to stop him. This little guy is such a brat. But he thought it unnecessary. Don't panic. Because Qin Wuyi originally did not have a high opinion of his abilities. To light up the revelation star, one must at least have a cultivation foundation establishment. A useless person refining qi like him can't teach anything up there. Watching the streak of light Yi Kong was soaring up, he calmly said, let's just wait and see. In the space of the galaxy, Xiao Bai was trying hard to concentrate. What on earth is this revelation star? But after a long time without results, the boy immediately got angry. Why can't I light it up? Lin Tion tried to reassure him, don't rush, I haven't lit it up either. Let's be a little more patient. Although she said that, she was actually quite confused. Strange, why can't both Xiao Bai and I light up the revelation star? If it doesn't shine anymore, we might as well smash all the stars in the sky. Just when both were at an impasse, Yi Kong appeared. Disciple, it seems you are in trouble. Lin Tion suddenly exclaimed, Master. He clasped his hands behind his back and said to them, it's all Master's fault. Clearly knowing that you two are talentless fools, I should have taught you first. Yi Kong calmly uttered a few words, the method to light up the revelation star. But what the two were concerned about was the previous statement he made. What? The talent of the empress like me is talentless, the talent of the demon emperor like me is talentless. Then both Lin Tion and Xiao Bai were determined to try again. Absolutely cannot let Master look down on us, I don't believe we can't light up this damn revelation star. He raised his hand near his mouth and smiled gently, calmly instructing, why do you need to use so much strength? Watch closely. Immediately. Yi Kong emitted a beam of light directly into the center of the galaxy. Master sets an example for you all. Everyone was astonished by this sight. How can this be? Qin Wuyi, standing below, couldn't help but feel anxious. What on earth is happening? Even Luoyang Tian had to exclaim, this, thousands upon thousands of stars are lighting up simultaneously, this has never happened in the history of our Xinghe sect. Questions kept arising. Could it be Yi Kong? No, it can't be, Yi Kong only has cultivation in qi refinement, lighting up one star would be lucky enough. At that moment, he suddenly noticed something. Lin Tion and Xiao Bai were together illuminating the revelation star. Seeing this, Luoyang Tian immediately concluded, of course, it must be his two disciples, it must be that way. After such a performance, he praised, with such good disciples, the prosperity of Xiao Peak is only a matter of time. After lighting up the revelation star, she regained her confidence. I said, how could I not light them up? I only showed a bit of my strength, and it led to so many stars. The boy didn't need to say much, his usual level of arrogance was even higher now. I can only say that I am too strong, that dog master should hurry up and thank me. It's all thanks to my blessings that Xiao Peak can show off like this. At the same time, on the second floor of the Immortal Dao Inn in Xinghe Town, a person stood by the window looking out at the competition area. As expected, the old ancestor is impressive, in the blink of an eye, he has lit up all the stars, he muttered to himself. Old ancestor, wait a little longer, soon you won't need to hide anymore. Finally, after passing the first round, Luoyang Tian announced, the revelation stars have all risen, the first round is over. He clasped his hands to announce the second qualifying round. Next is the second competition round of this 5-peak competition, head to the minor realm to collect tokens. Luoyang Tian raised his hand near his mouth to announce, there are a total of 1,543 tokens. Corresponding to the 1543 people who passed the first round, he conjured an illusionary scene and introduced it. You will go through this teleportation portal, randomly teleporting to the minor realm. After that, you can use any means necessary to snatch the tokens from others. Luoyang Tian produced several bronze gold tokens and explained, only those who collect 10 tokens can advance to the third round of the competition. Hearing this, Yi Kong suggested, Xiao Bai, for this round of competition, you should bring Ergu along. This left the boy extremely confused. Huh? No way, master, we are from Shiao Peak, not Shiao Peak. Xiao Bai stubbornly argued, even if it is Shiao Peak, they only bring spirit beasts, no one brings a dog along. But he calmly explained, Ergo is not an ordinary dog, it won't hinder you. Once you get over there, have Ergo lead the way, and quickly reunite with your senior sister. At this point, Lin Tion suddenly understood his intention. Master, you mean? In this competition round, the other contestants will join forces to deal with me and Xiao Bai. Yi Kong waved his fingers proudly. Who told our Shiao Peak to stand out so much in the first round? It's hard to avoid being envied by others. He turned his back and shrugged. It's also because Master didn't control the force well, lighting up too many stars. Xiao Bai complained again, Master is really thick-skinned, those stars were clearly lit up by me. The scene shifted to the second round of the 5-peak competition, with the competition venue set in the minor realm. Lin Tion flew straight down, leaving a trail of light in the space. When she looked down, she praised, Xing He Sect knows how to choose a spot. Lin Tion landed on a lush green area. This forest is so vast, let alone just over 1,000 people, even hiding tens of thousands would be easy here. Suddenly, a surprising noise made her flinch. Who? A boy sitting on Ge's back approached, Senior sister, it's me. Lin Tion was surprised, Xiao Bai. The boy climbed down from its back and recounted what had just happened. We just arrived here not long ago, and Ergo was already able to find us. This time, Xiao Bai's gaze towards Ergo changed. Perhaps the master is not wrong, Ergo is not an ordinary dog. Suddenly, the boy's expression became tense. Senior sister, haven't you noticed that this minor realm is a bit off? Hearing this, she also began to be cautious of her surroundings. Xiao Bai, what did you discover? The boy replied decisively, it's demon energy. Xiao Bai glanced around. There is a large amount of demon energy here. The three of them were indeed surrounded by a considerable amount of unhealthy demon energy. He added, so much that even if you said this is the headquarters of the demon sect, I would believe it.